On this week's episode, get your face paints on and grab your tickets because we're getting to the theater. Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Adam.
I'm Erica.
I'm Corey.
I'm Jeremy.
This week's episode, we're talking about 1994's The Crow, directed by a man whose name I'm going to screw up right now, Alex Proyas. He's an Australian director. I believe he's got a Greek name.
Lots of Greeks in Australia?
Apparently. This movie was starred Brandon Lee.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Unfortunately, we got to get it out of the way. One of the big things about this movie's history is, unfortunately, he died during production, which is very tragic. And before we get too far into it, I got to bring up something from our movie last week. We talked about American Werewolf in London, directed by John Landis.
Not Jonathan Brandis.
So he directed a movie in the another movie in the 80s, Twilight Zone the movie.
No way.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Twilight. I was like,
No.
That sounds...
So that movie is directed, it's got 4 segments, each one directed by a different director. His segment is particularly famous because while filming, there was an on-set accident that killed the main actor of that segment along with 2 children.
Is it the helicopter?
The helicopter that fell on them and killed them.
Oh my.
Which was just strange that this week we're talking about another film where
Another one of his actors died.
another actor died. Well, there's a different director.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But it's just, last week we had a director tied to another incident similar to this one. Yeah. So, anybody want to give a quick description of what this movie's about?
I'm just going to go ahead and say it that this is some 1995 emo theater girl's dream movie.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. Like, somebody based their whole personality in middle school off of this film. I just know it.
All the black leather pants,
Yeah.
The makeup.
white makeup, the black lipstick.
Yeah.
For me, it's the only leather sleeves, and the back is cut all the way to the top of the neck, and it barely fits on him.
Yeah. I like the fact that when he first gets the outfit, it's just the leather pants, the boots, and the black long sleeve shirt. He steals the coat from Tintin, and then at the end, after he's been shot up a couple times, he's wrapped in duct tape.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
is like the iconic cover of the movie where he's walking through the church doors. He's all skinny with his arms out.
Yeah.
And I always wonder why earlier in the movie, he doesn't look like that. He's on the cover. I didn't realize it wasn't going to happen until near the end. He just wraps himself in duct tape.
He's like, I got to hold myself together with duct tape.
So the basic gist of this movie is Brandon Lee's character, Eric Draven.
Yep.
He and his fiancée are murdered on Halloween night. 1 year later, he rises from the dead, and he takes revenge on the people who killed them.
Is it Halloween or is it Devil's Night? The day before Halloween, the 30th.
Oh, no. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yep, the day before Halloween.
And then
They're supposed to
gonna
get married on
They're
Halloween.
getting married the next day.
Yes, you're right.
Like every emo girl I've ever met.
Man, like you said.
Halloween is my night.
Yeah.
I love Halloween.
Let me get my black dress. Throw in some Evanescence.
Ooh.
That's what this movie was missing.
I don't know how Evanescence wasn't on this.
Well, I mean,
Or were they
Evanescence
not?
wasn't around at that time, were they?
It was 94.
It was 94.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was-
Oh, they weren't in the... Nah,
Yeah, it was 94.
They were setting the bar.
I guarantee you Evanescence is in this new album, though.
Oh, the
The-
upcoming one?
Yeah, it's supposed to come out in August.
There's supposed to be a new Crow coming out?
Yeah. It's a remake. Yeah.
I thought that's why y'all watched this one.
That's why. That's why
Yeah.
I picked it. Because the new one's coming out. The new one looked good from the trailers. I've never seen this, so I was like, hey. So the movie opens with an overhead shot of the city, a city that they never identify.
I kept calling it Gotham. It looked how I pictured Gotham to be. It was dark. It was rainy. It was dirty. There was a bunch of criminals roaming around. I was like, oh, this is just Gotham or Detroit.
I love how Yeah, modern day Detroit. I loved how most of the shots of the city were just models, sets.
Yep.
I love that. That was great.
That was good.
Yeah.
Like
That
it
was a
zooms
nice touch.
in over the city and it does that really tight close up on the window with Ernie Hudson standing in there
Yeah.
at the crime scene at the beginning. But as it's flying over the city, it has that narration from Sarah about
The Crow.
the crow himself. But it's like, crows carry souls to the afterlife. But sometimes there's something that's, I think she says there's something that's so wrong happens that the soul can't rest.
Yep.
Which I read online that the reason there's narration in the movie was a big part of Brandon Lee's death. It was supposed to be something else.
Okay.
And they had to fix some things and change. Yeah.
I think they did well with the circumstances of what happened around. Like, you can't tell that a man was murdered on this set and that it's not him in the beginning. I mean, like, if you knew the circumstances before you went in, you're like, oh, I can see why I didn't see his face in the opening credits. It's like, because he was dead by that point. So they had to film around that.
You mean like when he gets back to the apartment? Mm-hmm. Yeah, when he's realizing he's having the flashbacks of the murder. Mm-hmm. Yeah, now I think that's the shot where that's a complete body double. Mm-hmm. Brandon was dead at that point, so in that scene the character's always in shadow, their face is covered, their back is to the camera because that's not Brandon. But we open on the crime scene. Ernie Hudson is already there. Eric's fiance Shelley is still alive. She's been beaten and sexually assaulted. They're trying to get her. Was she stabbed?
I
missed
think
that
so.
part.
I think she was stabbed like, what, 20-something times?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So they're trying to load her into an ambulance and get her out of there. We get some line about Ernie Hudson being in charge at this point. One of the people is answering to him, and later on in the movie we find out he's been demoted.
Yeah, he gets put on suspension and then demoted, I think.
No, he gets demoted, and then near the end of the movie he's suspended. So he tells them to, let's get her out of here. Let's get her into the ambulance. The little girl, Sarah, comes running up. At first I thought Sarah was homeless. Mm-hmm. Because almost every time we see her, she's just out on the street with a skateboard.
Well, if this is Gotham, she's trying to get picked up by Batman. Like, this is a whole... She's trying to be Carrie Kelly.
Oh no, I hope a rich billionaire doesn't come down and bring me into their life and help me, or let me fight crime with them.
Just adopt me out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I got my trusty skateboard
She
for my
did come off as like
transportation.
an orphan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got strong orphan vibes off this kid. Because later we see flashbacks of her just hanging out with Shelley at their apartment. And it's like,
And Shelley's like...
these aren't your guardians.
I think, like, the final words Shelley says is, like, take care or find Eric and have him take care of Sarah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
She says it to Ernie Hudson's character, whose name is Albrecht.
Yeah, they kept. I think
Sure,
they
that
kept
sounds
using
right.
his last name.
Yeah, they never addressed him by his first name.
That and Sergeant.
Sergeant. At the beginning, he's Sergeant, but later on, he's been
Just a
demoted.
beat cop.
Because the other cop mentions they took your gold badge away. He says, or Shelley says, look after Sarah. And he goes, oh, she's going to be fine. He tells Sarah that Shelley's going to be fine. And Eric is fine. And once they get her into the ambulance, Shelley's like, you lied. It's like, she's not going to be all right. Eric's not all right. He's over there dead on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Thrown out of the top floor of a building.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they say later he got thrown from a 4th-story window.
Something like that.
Yeah. After that,
After he was shot, right?
he was stabbed and shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tintin.
Tintin threw the
First
knife into
knife.
him. Yeah. When he first comes in. But that's in the flashback he has when he first gets back to the apartment. In the apartment, though, they talk about the fact that it is Devil's Night, and there's been 143 fires just in that night.
And they were starting slow.
Yeah, it was a slow night. There's still 3 hours left. It's like, why would you want to live in this city?
Rent's probably hella cheap.
There's got to be.
Well, the fires can't be that bad. It is raining constantly this entire film.
That is true.
That might be why we don't see a fire department. We only see cops.
Well, the rain is doing the work of the fire department.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That would be a great place. It's like, hey, don't worry about it. We don't need a fire department. Why? Rains 24/7.
Oh, look at that. It's raining now. It rains in almost every outside scene in this film. It's crazy.
Which is wild because Sarah's out here literally sleeping on top of graves in the rain
Yeah.
when she has a house.
Yeah. She has a full apartment with a mom that we meet later on.
Hadn't it stopped raining at that point?
When she's sleeping on the grave?
Yeah, the rain comes and goes.
Yeah, I think it had stopped at some point because I remember the cop mentioned it.
Yeah. Most of this movie takes place over the course of 24 hours. From the time Eric rises out of his grave to the end of the film when he's killed everyone, It's been 24 hours.
Is that part of the Crow lore that he only has 24 hours to he has 24 hours to have the Crow power?
I know nothing about it outside this movie.
Same.
I've never seen another movie. I've never read the comics. I know there's multiple films, each one different actors playing different characters. None of them, I don't think, are repeat Eric Drevens. Mm-hmm. I know the funniest one to me is one of them is Edward Furlong from Terminator 2. I think he's in the third movie.
I can't wait to explore some of these movies.
Was that post or pre-Terminator?
Oh, it was long after. This movie was after Terminator. I think Terminator
right.
2 came out in 90, maybe? So it jumps ahead 1 year, and we open on Sarah walking through the graveyard, stealing flowers from other people's graves. And she's placing a bouquet on Shelley's grave. And Corey pointed this out last night when we were doing our rewatch, that she puts one lone flower on Eric's grave.
Well, she's like, fuck this man.
She's like, I like Shelley. I was just hanging out with Eric there.
Screw the man that defended everybody when they busted in the apartment.
He tried.
He tried.
He didn't get much done. Stabbed immediately.
Well, he is just a little theater boy.
He is. He is a rock star. Yeah.
He definitely became much more manly once the Crow came into his life.
Yeah.
Then it goes to the Ernie Hudson's at the hot dog stand, Maxie's hot dog stand with Mickey.
Arguing with that poor hot dog vendor.
Yeah, come on, man. You know how to make a hot dog. We can definitely tell this is not Chicago because the first thing that guy puts on the hot dog is ketchup.
Come on, man. You gotta put mustard on first. Come on.
You put the mustard on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. Onion. Give me the onions. Give me the onions.
And he's like, more onions. And I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, he really wants his breath smelling strong.
Nah, nothing's better than seeing Shelley. Not Shelley.
Sarah.
Sarah try and eat a hot dog.
Oh, my gosh.
She was struggling so hard.
It's like she'd never held a hot dog before.
In her life.
And then she's like, let me try to go at it from the side of the corner.
I think at one point she like goes to take a bite, then stops and like readjusts. Like, no, that's not working. Hold on, let me try. And he calls her. She is a professional hot dogger. It's like, clearly not. This kid's never seen a hot dog before in her life.
He might have been being sarcastic when he said that.
I definitely think he was. He was fucking with this kid.
I hope so.
They should have cut that hot dog up for her or something.
For real.
What are you, still 5? Here, I got you.
Mickey, can you get the plate and the knife? We can cut up Sarah's hot dog for her. It shows us the gang that killed them, which we haven't seen most of yet. Mm-hmm. The scenes of them getting killed. So I don't think at this point in the movie, you as the viewer know that these are the people who killed Eric. But it's T-Bird, Tintin, Fun Boy, and Skank. They're at an arcade and they're about to burn it up because it is Devil's Night again. Mm-hmm. Or the night before Devil's Night?
No, it's Devil's Night.
Devil's Night. Mm-hmm. And
before.
Night before?
Yeah, the what's his name? The boss.
Top Dollar?
Yeah, he asks, you still working for me tomorrow, right?
Okay. Yeah, so it's the night before Devil's Night. They're just kind of getting warmed up, I guess. Mm-hmm. T-Bird, played by David Patrick Kelly, who you guys will probably recognize from John Wick. He was Charlie in John Wick when John kills all those goons that come into his house. And he goes down, gets the coins, and he makes that phone call. I want to make a reservation for 12. And this little old man shows up to the house with those two guys. That was him.
Oh.
He goes, hey, John.
The cleaning service guy?
Yeah, the cleaning service guy. That was the guy who played T-Bird. He's in one of my new favorite movies, Commando, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie from the 80s. He's got that great line to him. He goes, I like you, Sully. You're funny. I'll kill you last. Yeah. So, David Patrick Kelly, when I saw him, I was like, this guy looks familiar.
He's having a good career then.
I mean, yeah, not bad.
He's been in some big movie names.
He was in both of the 48-hour movies.
I don't know what that is.
They're Eddie Murphy and, oh my gosh, I can't remember the man's name.
I feel like I should have seen these, but I also can't remember.
I watched the first one a while back. I did not like it.
Is it a comedy?
It's like a buddy cop comedy. Nick Nolte. Nick Nolte is a cop. He gets Eddie Murphy out of jail because he needs him to help identify somebody or find something. But the whole movie, they're just calling Eddie Murphy the N-word.
Wow.
Oh.
Like, no matter where they go, it's like, this is not entertaining to me. I'm not having a good time with this.
When did it come out?
It's about the same time as this. Eddie Murphy was like 27.
Eddie Murphy was 27 in the 90s?
80s.
Oh, it was the 80s.
It's the 80s.
You said it seemed about the same time as this. This is...
Oh, I'm sorry. I did say that too, didn't I?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's an 80s movie.
Okay,
They made 2 of them.
But still, dang.
Yeah. The guy who plays Leon in Blade Runner is in both of them. He plays a cop. Brian James. Yeah. So T-Bird and the gang blow up this arcade. They're driving down the street before it blows up, and they drive past the hot dog stand where Ernie Hudson and Sarah are watching Sarah difficultly eat a hot dog.
That poor child was struggling so bad.
Bad. And as this arcade is about to explode, it cuts back to the graveyard, and this is where Eric busts out of the grave. He's crawling through the mud, and it's raining again. He's just like screaming. I felt like it was like he just was very confused, didn't know where he was.
Very Jason Todd of him. He could have been a Robin.
Yeah, Robin. Jason Todd also came back from the dead.
Yep, just like this on a rainy day.
Yeah.
In Gotham, busting out of a grave.
This is possible Gotham.
I'll tell you what, that's a great comparison.
This is literally, I keep thinking this is like an undercover Batman film. They're like, we can't do Batman. Or can we?
It's 100%.
Or can we?
I said it watching it last night. I was like, this is just Gotham.
Yeah.
I was getting some Batman vibes.
It was. I also read that the director wanted to film the entire movie in black and white, except for the flashback scenes. He wanted those to be in color, but the studio said no, because he wanted it to be more like the comic book, which comics are mostly printed in black and white ink.
Except for the Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles. But the studio said, no, we don't like that idea. So he was like, all right, I won't do that. But I will make every single set and scene completely dark, black and gray. And he kind of got away with what he wanted to do, which I didn't mind that.
Yeah, because I think the only two people who are really wearing color are Sarah and Shelley.
Yeah, we often see her in white in the flashbacks. We only see her in flashbacks after that opening scene of her getting put in the ambulance.
That's right.
Eric's wandering the streets. He finds those boots in a dumpster. He's wearing dumpster boots this entire film.
I don't know how that man didn't get an infection. Well, he's dead.
He's dead.
But I'll tell you
dead.
right now, walking that alley,
he can heal.
barefooted,
A tetanus is
I'll tell you right now, I'll just go
Definitely
ahead and kill me.
He was healing the whole time.
every step he took.
Yeah, that's why his powers run out, because he's been wasting it the entire movie. Look, there were glass in those boots. That's why I threw them away. He gets back to his apartment. His cat Gabriel is there. The cat that's been alone in the apartment for a year.
And it's so pristine white. And I'm like, who's feeding this cat? Who's bathing this cat? Like, why is this cat so clean and so healthy looking, but literally in a condemned room?
And also, what happened with the apartment?
Oh,
Nothing.
Nobody came and cleaned it up. The candles are still there.
But do you guys remember why they're murdered?
No, that's why I was like, nothing happened to the apartment.
Shelley was murdered because she was fighting the tenant eviction. The criminals were trying to get everyone out of that building, and they were fighting it. That's why they murdered them.
That's right.
Oh, so I guess Shelley won then.
No,
In
the
end.
bad guys won,
Oh.
because the bad guys wanted the people out.
What did they want the building for?
I think they're probably trying to make like their headquarters.
In the building?
I'm guessing so.
probably
Like that's
just
going
trying
to
I
be.
don't know, because they had the trash. It was called the Trash Nightclub, where Top Dollar's hiding out.
Yeah.
I forget what their whole purpose was for trying to get people out of the building.
This feels like a secret Rent movie as well.
Oh no.
Because that's also the plot of Rent. Minus the AIDS. They're trying to find a tenant eviction as well. So
Never seen Rent.
it's so ooh. Let's put that on this season.
This is where we get the murder flashback. So
Right.
when Eric gets back to the apartment, he envisions the gang busts in, they attack Shelley.
Can we circle back real fast?
Yeah.
How did he get his powers?
It actually never states it.
It never says it clearly. It's just the fact that at the opening narration, when Sarah says crows carry souls to the afterlife.
This crow was like, hey, I'm gonna come back and get you in a year.
Just this
kinda.
one person.
This one
This
guy.
one guy.
No
Not
other
the-
wrong has ever been done in the
Not
world.
the girl who was brutally murdered
in
and sexual
front of
assaulted.
him.
Yeah. But the guy who just fell. Well, let's get him.
Mm-hmm.
Not the girl. I'd rather see this where Shelley's avenging her death. I think that'd be the better movie.
Well, it was a 90s movie.
It has to be a man. Also a man who's white passing, even though he was half Chinese, I believe. I believe Bruce Lee was Chinese, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Bruce, that's another thing we didn't mention. Brandon Lee is the son of famous martial artist Bruce Lee.
R.I.P.
who was another person who died far too young. I believe he was
32?
32, and Brandon was only 28. He celebrated his 28th birthday on the set of this film. It's just tragic.
I'm over here 31.
Right?
Yeah. The life and career that was robbed from this man for an accident on a movie set.
You know, martial arts wise, definitely. I don't know about acting.
I don't think he had acted that much, so I would like to have seen what he could have
That's fair.
turned into.
That's
He was-
fair.
But actually, I'm not even going to bring that up yet.
To be
Never
fair, the script of this movie wasn't great anyway, so I think he did well with what he had.
It had some fun moments. I definitely enjoyed some of the stuff, but yeah, it was kind of goofy. But it was the 90s.
Oh, 100%.
It was the night.
For me, it's his facial expressions when he does things, and it kills me
He's
a
got those
little
big
bit.
eyes.
Well, he would always be like this.
He was pouty a few times, yeah.
And it's just, sorry, everybody. That is my rendition of what he looked like. Everybody here got to see it. I'm sorry.
It was good. I liked it.
No, it was fine. In the flashbacks, we see this is where Tintin throws the knife to hit Eric. He drops to the floor. We see him pull it out, and my first thought was, "Don't do that. Leave that in." You might have hit something. He might have hit something important.
The knife is like,
It's a butcher's knife. It's
It's a
like
big knife.
It's a big knife. They drag him over. They walk over to him and they shoot him. This was the scene that actually killed him. The flashback scene where Eric is originally murdered. It's not. None of the footage, I believe, was used in the actual movie, but they had the revolver loaded up with dummy rounds, so they were real bullets in casings with no powder. So that way you could actually see the bullet. It looked more realistic in close-up shots. And the primer was left in the casing. So when the actor who killed Brandon Lee, Michael Massey, when he pulled the trigger, it hit the
leftover
primer.
There we go.
It totally left my brain.
Yeah, you're all good.
The primer, and it didn't fire the bullet, but it was just enough to pop the bullet out of the casing, and it got lodged in the barrel. So when they were doing a take with a blank round, the gun wasn't checked properly, and when Michael Massey pulled
quote
the trigger,
unquote wasn't checked properly. I think it was murder.
that's what there's a lot of theories online that he was murdered intentionally. So they were about, I want to say they were about 4 meters apart, and when he was supposed to be shot, Brandon was supposed to fall forward, but when Massey fired the gun, that blank round had enough power to propel that bullet out of the barrel with almost the speed of a normal bullet being fired, and it hit Brandon in the abdomen. He fell backward. People on set thought he was playing around because he was supposed to fall forward, and so at first they weren't freaking out. They went over to him. He wasn't responsive. And then they instead of immediately calling a paramedic, I think they said they called a doctor to come look at him on set.
Oh yeah, definitely a murder.
And then when the doctor couldn't revive him or get any kind of response from him, then they called an ambulance to take him to the hospital, where he unfortunately died during surgery. But he was only 28. It really sucks. Again, I would have loved to have seen what he could have done in his later years. But that's the tragedy behind this movie. He's running through the apartment.
I could see him in a buddy cop film. I think that would have been fun.
Oh, I think that would have been fun.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of him where he just looks totally different, where he's like his hair is shorter and he's got a beard. It's like buddy cop.
Oh,
yeah.
I gotta look it up. Now I gotta look it up.
Yeah.
He could have did like a Lethal Weapon remake. I think he would have been the Mel Gibson.
I don't know, because
I've been
hell, at this point they still had one more Lethal Weapon to make.
Oh.
Well, I guess they could have. He would have been like in his late 30s, something. So yeah, no, I could see that. He could have been an off the edge kind of cop.
Yeah, and he was hot, so
He was a handsome man. He was a good looking guy.
when he did that. Let me grab the rails.
Yeah.
Oh, when he jumped out the window.
Hold myself upside down, then
Yeah.
slide back. I was like,
He's-
show off those skills.
Yeah, he was running through the apartment after he had these flashbacks, and he was doing gymnastics, and he grabs the edge of the broken window and cuts both his palms open. And this is where we see for the first time his powers kick in, because it shows us with really bad 90s CGI, his palms heal from these cuts.
It was state of the art at the time.
oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
Mind
I
blowing.
believed it.
Next, we see the gang drinking at the bar, which is called the Pit,
Yeah.
I think.
Or the Bat Cave.
Okay.
And
Arkham
also
Asylum.
And also the new way I'm going to start taking my shots.
Oh my God, they drink them down with bullets.
They all took a shot.
You missed that?
Yeah.
Swallowed the bullet, then took the shot, or
They followed a shot with a shot.
Yeah, they put the bullet in their mouth and then took the shot.
Yeah.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Oh my gosh.
hey, what happened?
Because this is right after they blew up the arcade, so they're celebrating. Like, yeah, we did a good night's work.
I'm fairly certain you should not swallow a bullet.
Yeah, that'd be bad. That would be a fun surprise though for like if you're being cremated. Give the morticians a nice little surprise.
Oh, damn.
Or swallow. I heard a comedian say once something about swallowing a bunch of popcorn kernels. I don't remember who said it though.
Or like some fireworks, you know?
Oh,
You're already going down fire, like little, the ones you like drop on the ground and they like.
Oh yeah, firecracker.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're drinking the. They have some kind of goofy little standoff. One of them says something that pissed the other one off, and this is where we meet Darla, the bartender.
It was Skank and Tintin, because Tintin said, you can't take your shot you can't take your shot. Excuse the language. He's like, pussies take their shot last.
Yes.
And then Skank was like...
Skank got mad. Mm-hmm. Yep, you're right. Darla comes up. She's like, put your guns away. She's so nonchalant about it, but you can tell like she's off. She looks like she's probably high.
Yeah.
And we learn later Darla is actually Sarah's mom.
That was very unclear for a very long time.
Yeah, it's not until she goes back. Sarah goes to the bar and she's making out with Fun Boy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she calls her Darla. She makes a point to call her Darla. Eric is at the apartment, and this is where he finally puts on the face paint. Mm-hmm. The crow face paint. He's sitting there looking at pictures. He's sitting in his little armoire. He breaks the mirror. He puts on the white face paint. And apparently he wanted to do this himself at night before he went to bed. That way he could sleep, get up in the morning, and it would look kind of messy.
Oh.
But I don't think they let him do that. I think makeup artists put it on him. I think.
I never understood why he felt the need for makeup. He was letting people know who he was anyway.
There was a mask there at the
Yeah, it was supposed to be like the mask that he had, that he showed Shelly one time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like that mask.
Because he continuously has flashbacks in this apartment. And one of them was him showing that to Shelly.
They were being cute, cuddly. He's like...
Yeah.
I don't know what that mask's supposed to represent, though.
Is it a theater mask?
Yeah.
It could
Yeah,
very
it's
well.
like that
I think it was a
typical-
theater mask.
Okay.
The you know how they have one that's sad and then one that's
Yeah,
happy?
yeah.
Yeah, I think he only had the one.
Because he couldn't afford another.
I don't
because
know.
he's
He didn't
poor.
need the tragedy mask because he was happy. Little did he know, though, his life was going to become a tragedy.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
But it just I don't know. It felt too. I don't know what they were trying to evoke. What he was trying to do by putting the mask on. I'm like, you're letting people know it's you, and they're not recognizing you without the mask or with the mask on until you're like, hey, it was me. You murdered a year ago. Like if they just saw his face and be like, oh, didn't we murder you?
I don't think it's supposed to hide his identity because he has no reason to hide his identity. Everyone thinks he's dead to begin with.
Yeah, well,
But-
because he is.
He's a zombie. But I think it's more something to show respects to Shelly.
Because she was a theater bitch.
She might have been. It might have been her mask, maybe. I'd have to go back and rewatch it, but maybe that's why. I never got the impression he was trying to hide his face.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Eric was just a theater kid and he really got into it. He really got into this persona.
He was like, I need a little bit of the drama, a little bit of theatrics out there before I go avenge my girl.
That's right.
Yeah, and they never called him the Crow in the film either. Like they refer to his bird that follows him around, which I would have loved if they gave it a name. But they never call him the Crow. They
What
always
would you
refer to him
call
as
it?
Drevin.
What would you call the crow?
What would I call the Crow?
Yeah, if you were the crow, what would you call your little sidekick bird?
Oh,
I
good
think
question.
the title "The Crow" was actually just referring to the Crow and not Eric.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was actually referring to the Crow.
I mean, the Crow
And
is
not
what gives
the-
him his powers.
Yeah, not the character. I think it was referring to the bird.
Wow, that...
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
makes
so
sense,
like
yeah.
when you look at the character, you're just like, yeah, this guy, that's the Crow, and it's just like, nah, that's Eric Draven.
Well,
The crow is the crow. The titular crow.
Yeah, the title's
Okay.
referring to the bird.
although ironically, and Erica and I learned this earlier, that there are no crows in this film. All the birds on set were ravens.
Well, that might
Because
be
ravens
why
are bigger birds.
that might be why he did that Shakespeare quote.
Yeah.
That-
No, it was
Edgar Allan Poe.
Nevermore.
When he goes into the pawn shop, he quotes Edgar Allan Poe.
he quotes it. That's
Yeah,
that
I think
makes
that's
them up.
why. But also just a great line to say at that moment.
Yeah,
But also, a flock of crows is called a murder,
It is.
and a flock of ravens is called an unpleasantry.
An unkindness.
An unkindness, we learned, which is awesome.
There's a quote that says, if you see one solitary raven, it's good luck. But if you see a group of ravens, it's an omen. Which makes sense because it's an unkindness. I guess it's about to befall you.
I'm about to start looking out for crows and ravens.
Unkindness befell every single one of the bastards in this movie.
I loved
That's putting
everything.
it lightly.
I loved everything about it because with what they did
To her? Oh, they deserved it.
What was her name again?
Shelley.
Shelley. I always get
Worse.
her and the other one,
Sarah.
There we go.
Yeah, Sarah Shelley.
For
They
no
got
reason.
off easy.
For no reason. That was my
All they
thing.
had. All they had to do was go in there and intimidate them. Didn't need to do all that. There was no need for all that. But they are maniacs.
And it is the early 90s movie.
Yeah, you
And
got to
it
make
is
it
Gotham.
hardcore. It is Gotham.
I think one of them actually mentioned that they hadn't actually intended to go in there and murder 2 people. I actually can't. I believe
It was either Skank.
was it T? I think it was T-Bird.
It could have been T-Bird.
One of them actually mentioned that the original intent was not to kill 2 people. They weren't expecting Eric to pop up.
I think it
remember
was
that.
T-Bird. It could have been.
I want to say it was T-Bird.
Yeah.
It was the scene when T-Bird and Skank were going to the little store or whatever.
Oh, that little bodega.
Yeah, right before
the car chase?
T-Bird dies. I think he did mention that they hadn't originally intended to murder 2 people.
Oh, wow. I missed that completely. Okay.
That's a good catch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But so we're back at the shot taking
Yeah.
with the bullets.
Well, we talked about that. He puts on the face paint, and this is where he gets his wardrobe, which was kind of funny because he walks over to like an armoire where he opens it. There's a few empty hangers. Everything is gone from this apartment except for a few pieces of furniture, and there's one trunk in the closet that, thank goodness, had his long sleeve black shirt and his leather pants.
But like, what is wild is there's no moisture control in this apartment, so that trunk has to be so good.
I mean, everything in this movie just looks wet. And the building actually looks like it was on fire because the set is now black.
It is devil's nice.
So that might be why they wanted people out. They wanted to burn it down.
Although the cleanest thing in that building is
Was-
that cat.
That cat was pure white.
Pristine looked like the Fancy Feast cat.
It looked like
Oh
Augie.
my,
Augie
it
was
did.
pure white.
Yeah,
Yeah, our cat, he's fluffy. But
But
he's got more color to him.
that was definitely a girl cat because it was very small.
I don't know. It looked kind of big compared to Sarah.
Well, you know, it's a fluffy cat.
That's true. It's all fluff. It goes to Tintin's at the pawn shop.
oh yeah.
Run by John Polito, who the only thing I can think of him from is Bushwhacked. He's a crooked FBI agent in Bushwhacked who a bunch of kids pee on. He thinks it's water running down a mountain. It's actually kid piss.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's apparently a funny movie. This is the only scene from it I remember from my childhood.
Is that the movie with the guy from Home Alone?
Yeah, Daniel Stern. He's hiding from the mob as a Boy Scout leader.
Okay.
Yeah. And John Polito's the crooked FBI agent trying to catch him. But yeah, John Polito runs this little pawn shop. Tintin's in there selling some purses, maybe some jewelry. He only gives him $50, which pisses Tintin off. He's leaving. And Polito's just like, yeah, well, on your way out, close the gate. He goes, I'll close the gate. And he does like a really bad slave impression. Mm-hmm. He actually closes the gate for him, which surprised me. I thought he was just being sarcastic. Yeah, and he locked it. Yeah. So there's a little bit of respect there between these two assholes.
A little bit.
Eric shows up and he's running across the rooftops.
In a Batman-esque kind of way.
It's very Batman-esque.
He's
Yeah.
doing his superhero thing.
Yeah, he's doing flips and he's running and he's chasing the bird, who I'm still trying to think of a name for.
The Crow.
No, we gotta give him something exciting.
I feel like it needs like a generic name like
The Crow?
Johansson.
Well, I don't know. His cat's name was Gabriel. So I'm trying to think of something. Or actually, I'm trying to think of something goofy, kind of like all the gang members' names. Yeah.
Ooh.
Feathers.
Like I feel like Eric would be really into supernatural. So I feel like he might name the crow like
Poe.
yeah, or like Azrael or something.
Oh.
He was also a rock star. He'll name him Fender.
Boo. No.
I'll think of something. Give me time. Tintin's just wandering through an alley. He stops at a random dumpster fire. There's no one around. And he lights a cigarette, and Eric jumps off this building, much like an Assassin's Creed character, and he just lands on a pile of garbage.
On his back.
On his back, and he's just laughing. He's
Like
got
a
this great
maniac.
laugh.
You can hear the death of him landing, and he's like,
I don't know why we haven't done this yet, but no one has brought up Joker comparison yet.
No.
Oh yeah,
I know.
okay, with the makeup and the
No one was thinking that
No.
at any point during this movie.
no,
I don't
'cause
think I was,
I
no.
was getting Batman vibes.
You can't be serious.
No.
No one thought.
No, because my thought was because Eric's not a bad guy, so I never thought of Joker.
Oh, that's fair.
He literally looks exactly like Heath Ledger's Joker.
He does.
I mean, I can see the comparison, yeah, but I never thought of it.
And the laugh when he gets hurt.
Y'all didn't think of Heath Ledger's Joker at all.
No.
Okay,
I did not.
Did not want to bring this up yet.
Oh,
But the
please,
scene when
please.
he pops up on all the villains sitting at that table
Oh, at the end in the club?
in the club.
Yeah, yeah.
What scene from The Dark Knight was that?
That was the mob scene, yeah.
That was the mob scene.
I can definitely see it now that you pointed out, but again, my thing was I never thought of it because Eric is he's a hero. He's not a villain, so I never even in my brain thought of Joker.
So as soon as he put the face paint on with the mouth,
Dang.
with the lipstick that went like that.
Yeah.
you
No,
didn't
no, I get it.
Think, oh yeah, it's the Joker.
I'm
Nope.
thinking it now.
I
And it's not
I
out of my
absolutely
mind.
see it now.
Heath Ledger's Joker is literally the Crow.
That makes sense.
Well, no, because Joker's more like Top Dollar. He's all about anarchy.
He took that too and just combined it. He just combined all these things from the Crow, and that's how you get Heath Ledger's Joker.
I mean, no, I definitely see the comparisons.
What if Brandon Lee was still alive for the Joker?
I actually was gonna bring that up.
Oh,
Though just like the Dark Knight came out in 2008.
yeah,
yeah.
That's only what it was like. What
12 years later? I mean,
that would be
14.
14 years later.
It's 14 years later.
So he would have been in his early 40s.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
No, Heath Ledger was what, in his late 30s?
He was 27. Heath Ledger's in the 27 club.
Did he really only die at 27?
I'm pretty sure he's in the 27 club.
Oh, wow. I thought he was older than that. Not like super older, but wow.
because I think of Knight's Tale and everything.
Yeah, I think my first thing is 10 Things I Hate About You.
Of course. That's like his first big role, wasn't it? I think.
Heath Ledger died at 28, apparently.
Okay.
Oh, so they're the same age.
When did Brandon
Oh
Lee
yeah,
die?
he died
He
at
was
28.
He was 28.
Ooh, they
Wow.
together.
It's the same guy.
I mean,
That is
Yeah.
the same guy.
the parallels are definitely
They
there.
had the same look when they both died. Face paint, lipstick that went up the mouth, long hair,
Wow.
mob scene.
That mob scene in Dark Knight is one of the best scenes in that whole
It
movie.
is, and I immediately thought of it when
I never
he
thought of
walked
it.
up on that scene where they're all at the table.
I never thought of it. When we get there, I'll explain why that's one of my least favorite scenes of this movie.
All right, go ahead.
Once we get there, Eric jumps off the rooftop. He lands on the trash, Assassin's Creed style. He confronts Tintin, and Tintin and him fight in this dirty ass alley puddle.
Oh, it was so gross.
It was like, that's practically sewer water in Gotham. he has the upper hand for a second, Tintin, because he beats Eric down with that pipe. But like all the villains in this movie, he fucking starts monologuing.
Well, it was after Brandon Lee let him get in his head because he was winning
because he had him pinned up against the wall.
and then he was like, "Do you remember a year ago?
Yep.
This man and woman." He's like, "Man, I don't remember nothing." And he's like, he describes everything, and he's like, "Oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, we remember."
And he says something nasty about Shelley, and Brandon Eric slaps him.
The slap was just like a.
Well, he was emotionally overwhelmed.
He had just come back
Fair.
from the dead a few hours ago.
No, it's fair. It's just it cracked me up.
The fight happens, and Tintin pulls out his knives again, and he has this really funny part where he says something about how he never misses with his knives. Immediately misses. Immediately, that knife goes right past Eric.
Well, he's probably been playing darts with that guy from American Werewolf, where he was like, "I never miss."
Oh,
Him
You
and
made
Tintin
me-
are like buds when in their
They're pen
shooting.
pals.
Yup. He's like, "Bitch, let me tell you, I just missed." It's like, no way, a werewolf just made me miss.
This shit gets crazier.
is it a full moon there too?
At least you had a werewolf. I have this weird dude.
With face paint on, looks like the Joker.
The Joker was the thing at that time.
Yo, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Joker was a big deal.
This was just 4 or 5 years after Jack Nicholson played Joker.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
great
89.
Joker.
I can't believe y'all never made that connection.
I
At
never
all?
thought of it. My brain never went to Joker.
Yeah, I was like, this is definitely Gotham, but my brain never hit Joker.
Y'all had Gotham, y'all had Batman, y'all mentioned Robin, and I'm just like, no one thought Joker when the guy put the paint on his face. Who else even paints their faces other than Sting, who definitely stole the whole crow. Shit.
You know what? Yes.
The Sting
Yes.
is literally, that's literally what he was
That
like, yo,
is his-
I want to be the crow, and then boom.
He was like, I gotta look, guys. This is it.
That was one of the reasons me and my cousins used to like Sting. Like he popped out, and it's just like, bro, he's the crow.
And then what I love about Sting,
was the best.
he would like after the match, his makeup would literally be like running.
You know whose makeup is never running though? Eric Driven.
Oh yeah.
This man has the best makeup in the world.
And it's raining,
It's
and
raining.
it's still just
And he's fighting. He's
Perfect.
getting punched. He's always on the move, so he's sweating. This makeup is not off this man's face till the very end of the movie, and even then, you can still see a little bit of it.
I don't know what like face setting spray he was using, but I need to get on that.
When he's fighting Tintin and he's throwing the knives, he blocks. Like he slaps one right out of the air, and then the last one he catches. And then he throws it back and hits Tintin in the shoulder, pins him to the boards. He grabs another knife out of his vest, Eric does, and he goes, did he say something like, we're all victims sometimes?
I think so.
And then he stabs him, but we don't actually see the stabbing. It cuts away real fast. And next time we see Tintin, he's full of knives. His chest is full of
Like
them.
covered, like he's like a little butcher rack of knives.
That's right.
Yeah, he looks like a little knife holder.
Yep, a little Cutco holder, if you
I
will.
wonder if anybody ever sold any vintage 1010 knife holders back then.
Someone out there definitely
Somebody
has
has a
one.
10-10
Yeah.
knife.
That'd be a very hard niche to fill. Like, you like to crow and like to cook?
Oh, yeah.
I got a knife holder for you.
There's an Etsy holder or person out there who's like special ordering, making these knife holders. Definitely for sure, since someone ordered it.
Just a body with knives.
Yeah,
I know they definitely have those. The knife holder looks like a little body. I'm trying to picture one that looks like Tintin. Guy with a vest and some braids. T-Bird goes to the trash club because Top Dollar lives above there. He doesn't actually meet with him yet. He meets Tony Todd's character.
I forgot Tony Todd was in this film.
I was trying to figure out when we first read the credits that it's got Tony Todd. I was like, who the fuck does Tony Todd
Yeah.
play in this
I
movie?
saw him and I was like, yo.
It's Candyman.
Yeah.
That I was about to say it.
He plays a character named Grange, which I don't think they ever say his name in the movie. I'm looking at his IMDb credit.
And who does nothing.
He doesn't. Well, no.
Every time he
He
showed
does.
up,
He does one thing near the end. He does one thing.
but like every time he showed up, I was like, oh yeah, Tony Todd's in this movie. And I was like, why is he in this movie? Like he does literally like,
He's just Top Dollar's right hand man. He's supposed to be like the heavy.
Yeah.
but he's not even like beating up people. He's just like
he's not.
He's like move
He's
or
he's,
let me pick up this paper.
He's as calm and collected as Kingpin's right hand man on Daredevil.
I don't remember his right hand man on
I
Daredevil.
also don't.
Damn, that was a bad reference to make because no one got it. I don't know. He's just one of those. Right? He's one of those.
The guy that got killed by
the lawyer.
yeah,
Yeah.
the guy that got killed by the lawyer chick.
Yeah, she shoots him at the table.
Yeah, he
okay.
was really calm and collected.
That guy was smooth as can be. And that's kind of like Tony Todd in this movie. He never really reacts to anything.
He did look good in this movie though. He was classy. He had his little uncle glasses on.
He had a
Yeah.
nice suit.
That
Yeah.
guy could have been Blade.
He could. He.
Oh, wow.
That guy could have been Blade at that time.
Young Tony Todd. When the first time we saw him, it was just a close-up. We didn't get a full body shot. You just see his face and his like neck. And he's got like a turtleneck on under his suit, and he's got these glasses. I was like, man, this man looks like Steve Jobs.
Oh
Yep.
my god.
You said that exact thing.
That's immediately what I thought. Later on, we see the nice outfit, and he wears this pinky ring that's almost like a
A pimp ring to smack bitches.
Wow.
kind of, but it covers his whole finger.
Oh, you talking about like the
It's like a cover.
those whole I know what you're
A
talking
Coke
about.
It fits the aesthetic.
thing.
Yeah,
Oh.
it really does fit the aesthetic. So T-Bird's trying to talk to the boss. Grange, Tony Todd, tells him, he's not available right now, but we'll get you in there. This is where we finally meet the boss, played by...
A weird dude. The boss in this movie is weird.
His accent was throwing me a little bit.
That's
There's
his
an
real
accent?
voice.
Yeah.
Michael Wincott is the main boss of this film, Top Dollar. We learn later that he's the
worst
one that told them to go in and clear out that building. So he is the main villain of this movie, not just the gang. Michael Wincott, might remember him. Some people remember him from Kevin Costner's Robin Hood. He plays Alan Rickman's cousin in that movie.
Alan Rickman's in that movie?
Alan Rickman's the main villain.
You know what? I've never seen it. Never mind.
Alan
I'm
Rickman plays the
thinking
sheriff of
Men in
Nottingham.
Tights.
Oh, Men in Tights.
Yeah.
Good movie.
Great movie. R.I.P.
Yeah, Alan Rickman.
No, well, yeah, but I meant to the guy who plays.
Prince John.
Yeah. He died recently.
Richard Lewis?
I think so.
Yeah.
With his roaming mole.
Yeah. Man, that sucked. He was a funny man.
He was so funny.
Y'all in these names, y'all are on it.
But he also played I think he was a director in Jordan Peele's Nope.
Ooh.
Oh, he was the director of Jordan?
No, he was a director in the movie.
Oh.
His character in the film was a director.
Yeah.
They call him in at one point because they want to use his analog cameras. Because the thing in the movie, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but the thing in the movie affects electrical devices.
Is Nope the one with Keke Palmer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's in that. He plays one of the main villains in Halo 3.
Okay.
Video game people will know that. So Michael Wincott plays Top Dollar, and we meet his...
Are they giving themselves these nicknames?
They have to be given.
They gotta be.
100%.
Gotta be. It's not like mob movies where in a mob movie, mobsters have nicknames, but you don't call them by their nickname to their face. It's like something you call them behind their back.
I feel like Top Dollar should be one of those names you call him behind his back. Because no offense, but I don't want like a man to be like that's about to like beat me to death to be called Top Dollar. I'd be so mad. I'm like, no. What's your real name? What's your mama call you? Because no, we're not doing
You
this.
ain't beat my ass.
Look, if you're gonna kill me, at least tell me your real name. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, like if your name is like Michael, I'm just gonna call you Michael on my deathbed. And you're like, it was fucking Michael.
I mean, how do you explain it to St. Peter? What happened to you? Well, this guy named Top Dollar kind of just broke my neck. Who?
Exactly.
No, you can't get in here.
T-Bird.
T-Bird.
Skink. A man named Skink.
That's the worst one. I gotta say, Skank is the worst one out of the bunch.
I don't know, that and Grudge or Grange.
Grange?
All these names were awful.
They were,
horrible.
weren't they? I'm not saying any of them were good, but I think the worst one was Skank.
No, it is.
Horrible comic book movie
But, like,
villain names.
Very much.
The one that I was like okay with was Tintin, but every time they said it, I was thinking of the Adventures of Tintin and just pictured an adorable little British boy. Like,
But that is not what we got.
No. We got a guy who looked like a wrestler.
Booker T.
Yeah! Corey brought that up last night.
I said the same thing while I was like, man, he looks like a wrestler, but I can't think of his name.
Yeah.
And I don't know wrestlers, so I'm out.
The famous little nose strip that Booker T always had. I was like, man, if Tintin had that on.
He aged so well.
As soon as I saw him, I was like, why is Booker T in here?
I looked it up to make sure it wasn't him.
Oh, yeah, good move. Because he was around back then. He would have been wrestling, so it would have been a...
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he read the script and was like, I don't know about this one, guys. He's a fun guy. Like, he's a good dude.
I know nothing about him.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, I don't know wrestlers.
But yeah, all the names in this movie were just so bad.
All of them.
It's okay. They had to work with the comic book names.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense with a comic.
When did the comic come out? Like, how much longer before this movie?
Oh, good question. I don't know. I'll have to look that up.
That's
This is where we also meet Top Dollar's lover.
Ooh.
And we also learn that it's also his half sister, which is so gross.
It's something.
She's a character named Mika. I don't know if I don't remember hearing her name in the movie, but she's played by Bei Ling, who's a woman who looked very familiar, but I couldn't think of what I've seen her in.
She was in that one movie with Anthony Anderson and that one black guy, Baby Daddy.
You sure?
I'm pretty
That
sure
was her?
I'm pretty sure that was her. She played the Asian girl in that.
I don't remember anyone in that movie except for Eddie Griffith and Anthony Anderson.
Eddie Griffin, that's the name I was thinking
I
of.
used
Yeah.
to laugh at that movie all the time.
I remember watching it once.
It used to come on, I want to say HBO or Stars a lot, and I watched a lot of that back in the day.
Okay. But they're sitting there on the bed, and he's looking at a little snow globe, and he's got like a tear in his eye, and he's talking about, and he says very distinctly, "Dad gave this to me, not my dad."
Yeah, Bailing.
Dad. Oh wow.
Wow. I kept saying she looked familiar.
I just remember a part where Eddie Griffith has a hat on, and he took his braids out, and then he takes the hat off, and he left his braids in for the part of his head that was under the hat.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got a really dopey looking haircut for a minute.
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah, that's her.
Oh wow. Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
I kept saying she looks familiar, but I couldn't figure it out.
I knew I'd seen her somewhere, but I couldn't figure out where.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That was her.
Oh wow.
Came out in 2004, so only 10 years later. So she would have only been...
Oh, she was also the assassin in Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
She's the one that tries to get Will Smith in that little room, and that guy's hidden up in the painting in the ceiling.
Oh, it's been so long since I saw Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
She's like, she has that line where she's like, Mr. West meets East or something like that. Yeah, then I think she gets shot in that movie.
If we ever do rewatches, that'd be a good one to put on a rewatch.
Did she die unceremoniously in that movie too?
I don't remember if she lives or dies in that movie. She might get killed by the assassin that Will Smith kills right there. So Top Dollar and his sister, Misa? What did I say earlier?
Nika?
No, it starts with an M. It's Myca.
Micah?
Okay, let's call her Micah. They are sitting there. He's talking about this little snow globe. He says, Dad gave this to me on my 10th birthday. Says something about eventually everyone has to die. And it's a little graveyard snow globe.
Yeah, he says, you're finally an adult or whatever. You're no longer a kid once you know you're going to die.
Yes, something very similar to that. And he's got like a little tear in his eye. It's almost like he's remembering his dad fondly with this threat he seemed to have given him.
Yeah, and the scene is not set up for this emotional flashback at all.
I don't know what was going on in this scene.
No, and then she asks something about, what about how's our guest doing? And there's a naked woman in the bed.
Oh.
He says, I think we broke her.
Yeah, she's just
Dead.
stone cold
This woman
dead.
is dead. And Micah
Sure.
rolls her over, and her eyes are just open. She says, she has beautiful eyes. And she pulls out a knife, and you see the knife going toward her face, but you don't see it. And it cuts away to Sarah visiting Darla at the bar, the pit. That's one thing about this movie. It's very jarring. Like the scenes, they are so...
Not fluent.
They're not fluent. They're very short. They're cut up a lot.
It doesn't flow well.
No, it doesn't flow well to me. Because there's this little scene of her, and this is where you get the idea that Darla is her mother. She's over there making out with Fun Boy, Michael Massey. I think he had a little role on Supernatural with Sterling K. Brown. They were vampire hunters.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
He took a step back from, acting.
Yeah.
Once after this movie.
Yeah, I think he took
I
an
don't blame
entire year off of acting after this film, and he did an interview in the early 2000s. It was over 10 years after this movie, and he said in that interview he still has nightmares about this. Unfortunately, Michael Massey, he's the one that killed Brandon Lee, and no charges were filed, I believe, because it was just ruled an accident. But unfortunately, Michael Massey died a couple years ago. He lived...
A gunshot wound?
No, I believe he had cancer.
Oh.
Yeah, he lived to be an old man. His name's Fun Boy.
Yeah.
Fun Boy tells Sarah, go home, play with your doll. And she goes, I don't have any dolls. And she makes some joke about, I can call the cops.
Mm-hmm.
And
the cops brought her dinner.
Yeah, the cop bought her dinner.
Yep.
The mom
because she had that awkward hot dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Darla is a bad parent. She couldn't teach her kid how to eat a damn hot dog unless it's cut up on a plate for her.
Don't reckon. Maybe not. I was like, maybe it's like a weird reverse Peter Pan situation.
What you mean?
Like, so Top Dollar would be Peter in this situation. I guess his weird sister would be the Wendy. And then his little minions are the Lost Boys.
Oh my gosh. I know where you're going at with this.
And then Eric would be Hook. And then the captain would be Smeeks.
Smitty? Smith?
Shmee.
I didn't watch
There we
Peter
go.
Pan.
You ever seen any Peter Pan movie?
Nope.
The one I like the Robin Williams Hook.
Yes.
It's
I
not
watched
bad.
that movie
It's Steven
so many
Spielberg.
times.
It's not a great movie, but it's definitely not bad.
It's a great movie.
I mean,
and also Maggie Williams.
the kids are kind of annoying.
Well, they're kids.
I will give Glenn Close's cameo in that movie is good because you don't know it's Glenn Close.
And Maggie Williams in old lady makeup looks exactly like not Maggie Williams.
Maggie
Smith looks exactly like Maggie Smith now. Like they nailed that old lady makeup.
I've lost my marbles.
Yeah. It got a little weird when you find out she was like still lusting after Peter, but
Yeah.
I'm grandmother to your children. Darla gives Sarah some money. She leaves. And we finally get Eric visiting John Polito's pawn shop to get his ring back. He's knocking on the glass, and Polito's like, we're closed. He's still knocking. And eventually, he just breaks through the window, or does Polito shoot it?
He breaks through the window.
He breaks through the window.
Polito's a little bitch this entire scene.
He is. But this is where we get the Edgar Allan Poe reference.
Yes.
Because he walks in, he says that, I heard a gentle tapping on my chamber door. And he says something like, what, you didn't hear me tapping? I don't know the exact Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, you didn't hear me rapping.
Rapping.
That's right.
Because
On your chamber door.
Because he's talking about him being a musician.
Yeah.
That's what I imagine. Since he was a musician, he's like, here I am rapping at your door. Da, 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 da.
No, he wasn't a rapper. He was a rocker.
No, not rapping as in like rapping, but for when Edgar Allan Poe wrote that, what it signified.
They're both poets in a way. Mm-hmm. I gotcha.
Not rapping as in he's about to freestyle.
That
would have been hilarious.
I don't ever want to see Brandon Lee, R.I.P., try and rap.
This is where Polito, he knocks Polito down, and Polito shoots him through the chest, and it's got that great shot. Corey pointed out to me last night. You actually see the bullet hit the stuff behind Brandon.
And like
the smoke.
Mist and smoke.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's where I thought he died.
No, not there.
I thought.
It was a really good shot, though, and this is where Polito has a great catchphrase that he uses for the rest of the movie he's in. He goes, "Shit on me,"
Yep.
which is something I'd never heard before. And he's freaked out. He's scared. He runs behind the counter, and this is where Brandon Lee has my favorite little funny thing in the movie. He jumps on the counter in the background, and you see his feet just disappear. And Polito turns around, and Eric is hanging upside down behind him. And he just goes, "Mr. Gideon." He just says it so calm and politely. Mm-hmm. He's just trying to find Shelley's ring that he thinks Tintin pawned there.
Yeah.
So he stabs Polito's hand to the countertop, and he's pinned there for most of this remainder of this scene.
Is that his knife, or is it a knife he stole off of Tintin?
I don't know, because he also stole Tintin's leather jacket, which he's rocking for a lot of this movie. Mm-hmm. It could very well be. Oh, this is where we cut back to Tintin's actual crime scene, where we see him full of knives. And there's an asshole cop that keeps talking shit to Ernie Hudson, and I think this is the scene where he mentions that he lost his gold badge. Mm-hmm. And he's been demoted. And the cop's like, "What happened here?" He goes, "Well, something about he's full of knives. I think you can rule out accidental death." Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the cop's pissed off, and there's a big bird drawing on the wall. He goes, "And what do you call that?" He goes, "Well, that's a bird. I think you would call it graffiti."
Yep.
Just, he's being so catty and sassy to this guy, just talking so much shit to him.
It's the guy that got him demoted.
Yeah,
because he wanted his spot. He wanted his position.
He says, it's definitely not a accidental death. The blood, you'd call it graffiti. Eric has another flashback of him proposing to Shelley because he finds the ring in the pawn shop, and he takes her up to like this little attic crawl space where he's got dozens of lit candles. It's just a fire hazard waiting to happen. They didn't need to hire the goons to come in and burn the building down. Eric would have done it for them if they gave him enough time.
Oh, yeah, he's trying to be too romantic.
Yeah, trying to be too romantic. Shelley didn't need all those candles. Shelley would have been happy with, just a nice little lamp.
Mm-hmm. You're already living in one of the worst areas. Don't burn it down.
They make mention about her fighting the tenant eviction, like, in that neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Polito tells him, you can go ahead and take anything you want. And Eric goes, "Thank you." Very, very polite. "Thank you.
Thank you for saying I could do what I'm already doing."
He's
yeah.
like, "I only want this one thing, but if you're offering this gun over here."
And he starts knocking over gasoline cans. This pawn shop is full of barrels of liquid. And then little, looks like lighter fluid cans.
It really just shows that Polito's an open-minded guy. He'll accept anything and give you cash.
Yeah, he won't give you much cash.
I know these Gothamites are hard on their luck with all these criminals running around. I
bought all this fear gas from Scarecrow a couple weeks ago. He tells Polito that I want you to give them a message. And he tells them Eric Drevin is coming for them and he's going to kill all of them. At this point, I didn't realize that Polito was actually working with the gang. I thought he was just some scummy pawn shop owner. Because when he's attacking him, I'm like, why is he hurting this guy? He just runs a pawn shop. Yeah, he's a shitty dude, but I didn't realize till later he actually works with the gang. They didn't give us that information, really.
They didn't give us much information at all. We just had to piece it together.
Yeah, that's true. Piece it together after the fact, yeah.
This is 90s storytelling.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the one pawn shop that knows everything. And so all the villains go there to pawn it. So it's like, oh, I know Tintin's mad that your place is burned down.
Well, he also Eric also kind of gave the indication that all the rings that he was taking were like stolen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is another life ruin.
Yeah,
He's
he kinda
stolen the
implied
rings at
that.
Polito.
Yeah.
He dumps a bunch of the rings into the barrel of his shotgun, and he puts gasoline all over the counter. And this is another thing we talked about earlier with it being like a choppy editing. In between this scene, it just cuts back to Sarah at the bar getting a root beer.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And the nice bartender's like, you don't have to pay for this. Eric goes outside. Polito's talking shit to him. And Eric has this great line. He goes, do you smell gas? And Polito goes, no. And he runs to the back door, and Eric shoots at the counter. And this explosion engulfs, like Eric's, I don't know if it's a puppet or if it's just a stunt actor, but they're standing right there, and the flame just totally engulfs this actor when he blows up the pawn shop. Mm-hmm. And I thought it would have been really funny that when the fire cleared, it was just Eric standing there with no hair. Just burned to a crisp. Like Wolverine. Mm-hmm. Just heals slowly.
Well, it was funny. What'd you say? The pawn shop owner.
John Polito
There
is
we
the
go.
actor.
It's so funny that your hand is stabbed to a table. You're crying for your life. You are pretty much soiling your pants. You finally get your hand free from the person that stabbed it. Then you want to talk trash while they leave your store. Be a man.
He was a bitch the entire attraction.
To be fair,
Exactly.
he shot this man
And watched
the
it
whole
heal,
close.
That's true.
That's why I wouldn't try
So that-
and backtalk him.
Completely unnerved him from the jump.
Yeah, but I wouldn't talk trash whenever he's leaving. I'll tell you that.
Just get out.
I
Just
would have
go.
just left immediately.
Yeah.
As soon as I shot him and it just healed out, I just ran out the back door.
Exactly.
Like, hey, you own this building now. Bye.
I just realized I'm not a big man. That person's a big man.
Yeah. So
I'm like, mm-mm.
I'm running to the nearby church.
I need to figure out what is going on.
Do I have any salt in any of these barrels? Maybe he can't cross a salt line. Albrecht
Sure.
shows up, Ernie Hudson's character, to the scene of the explosion. Eric's leaving. On his way out, he stole a guitar.
Well, he was like, I was a
He
rock
told him
star.
he could take it. He said you can have anything you want.
He did say he could have
took the
anything he
guitar.
wanted. Thank you. Ernie Hudson has him at gunpoint, and he tells him not to move. And he goes, "You're telling me not to move, but I'm choosing to move." And Ernie Hudson doesn't shoot him. He doesn't do anything. He's very restrained for a cop. He doesn't want to shoot anybody. And Eric sits on the curb. He tells him something about asked him a year ago Shelley was murdered, and he goes, and Ernie Hudson immediately remembers Shelley Webster. He's like, she's been dead for a year, and he doesn't realize just yet who Eric is, but he's very suspicious of it. He notices some people looting the exploded pawn shop, and Eric gets away. And now,
Is that the scene where Eric was like, "Hey, tell me about my death"?
no, that's later when he
That's
visits Ernie
later.
Hudson in the apartment.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that scene.
It's very, very close.
That's after Ernie Hudson does realize you're Eric. You're supposed to be dead. It goes back to the trash club, and Top Dollar has this big, it looks like a big stone chalice in front of him with smoke coming out of it.
like a cauldron.
Oh, like a cauldron, yeah. And you see they're burning an eyeball?
Very witch-like of him.
Yeah.
I think that's what the
Sister.
Micah. Yeah, I think that's what her whole deal was.
Yeah.
The witch.
Something like that.
I'm pretty sure that was the eyeball of the dead girl that was in the bed.
because she figures out at the end of the movie.
She definitely had a very supernatural character type thing going on
Yeah.
with her.
Yeah, she was gave off strong witch energy.
She was the one who immediately realized that the crow was the key to Eric's power.
After all the characters, several characters were like, yeah, there was a big bird there. And I saw a big bird too. Me too. There's this big yellow bird following him around, telling him how to do the alphabet.
Oh, big
Oh, wow.
Get it?
Big bird.
Yeah, Sesame Street covered over.
They're burning this eye. I think this is also the scene where he's got a giant Tony Montana pile of cocaine.
He does. It's right beside it because he inhales the smoke and he's like, tasty.
Did you say
Exhales
Tony
it.
Montana?
Yeah, Scarface.
Oh. I was thinking that we were making a Sopranos reference.
No.
Two things I've never seen.
Tony
so.
Soprano.
Oh,
Oh, I've never watched The Sopranos either.
haven't seen either.
Me either.
I've only ever seen clips, never watched it.
But yeah, he.
Oh, is
he
it a stay tuned?
No, it's a 6-season TV show.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Scarface.
Oh, Scarface? I've seen Scarface.
I have not seen that. Either.
Same. I haven't. I'm gonna watch that.
It's Al Pacino, mid '80s Al Pacino, playing a Colombian drug lord.
One of his most famous roles.
Oh,
Back when an Italian could play a Colombian.
I thought he was in.
Godfather.
Yeah.
He's the son.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
De Niro was in Godfather.
De Niro's in Godfather Part 2.
There's okay.
He plays the young version of Marlon Brando.
Oh, Marlon Brando's so fine.
Not in Godfather.
Oh.
I don't know.
They age him up a lot in Godfather because he's only like in his early 40s, but they make him look like he's like 60.
Oh man.
Oh.
Yeah. It's still very distinctly Brando. He just looks way older.
Flirty as hell. Is he flirting throughout this whole movie?
No.
Oh.
Just all excited, then
I was
just
like,
shot
you know
down.
what?
What's that movie where he's standing out in the rain?
Oh, Stella.
Stella.
It's a streetcar named Desire.
Yes. I just remember it.
He
Stella.
was fine as hell in that movie. Abusive asshole, but
Mountain of Cocaine. Tony
Hell of a
Montana.
drug. But yeah, like he inhales this eyeball smoke, tastes it as if it's a 4-course meal,
Nice little
and
treat.
very Hannibal of him.
then just dips his pinky, tastes a little bit of the coke, tastes it again, and he's like, then this is when
T-Bird.
Yeah, this is when T-Bird and
Grange.
Candyman comes in.
Yeah, Grange. Tony Todd. And he has a really funny line in this scene about one of my guys is dead. Tintin. He was stabbed in his major organs in alphabetical order, which is a great goofy little line in the movie because there's no way you could know that. You're not gonna. How do you know he was stabbed in alphabetical order? Did he tell you before he died?
As he was bleeding, I was like, wow, you really put a lot of oomph in that K there for my kidneys.
Oh my! No, you do the liver next. The liver.
Oh, not my ass.
No, he would do that one first.
Exactly. Just straight old up.
I wonder if that was a reference to something.
I don't know.
Because it was just weird and out of
Yeah,
place.
it did seem like a random.
Yeah, it was stabbed in alphabetical order.
Because now the crow knows, what is it? The body.
Tintin?
No, like the study of it.
The anatomy?
There we go.
It's probably
Because now the crow knows anatomy. You just get every vital
Maybe
organ.
the crow's telling him from above. He's like, hey, hit him in the ass first. And then...
No, Eric, I didn't mean fuck him. I meant stab him. Use the knife. Oh, your pants are down. Oh, no.
Oh, it's too late.
I brought the wrong guy back from the dead.
The crow, like Big Bird, helping children and men.
Could you imagine Big Bird
spell.
flying around? We gonna learn our alphabets
That's going to be
today.
the only color in this movie is Big Bird. Just a big, bright yellow bird.
Stab him here. That's for A.
A
Stab
new
him here.
type of Sesame Street, if you will. HBO, since it's moved to... Or not HBO. Sesame Street, since it moved to HBO, it's been a little different.
After we're done taking care of this gang, we're going to go after Oscar. He owes me money. Big Bird, you're really angry. Yes.
That's a lot of coke I gave him.
That's,
I would love...
I ran out of drugs. I can't handle these kids anymore.
I would love to see like a Sesame Street SVU.
Oh, no.
Like spin off. I think
Lord,
that'd be really
yes.
funny. Like a little spoof episode of it. I think that'd be fun.
Show me here on this puppet where you were touched.
Okay, maybe not that dark. I meant like maybe like a drug running situation.
I am a puppet. You said SVU.
Yeah. Oh, the special crime. Yeah.
Special Victims Unit.
My bad. Just regular Law and Order.
Oh, okay.
Like, what's Olivia Benson doing? Like, I need Marish.
SVU.
Oh, is she only on SVU?
Yeah.
For the most part.
Oh, damn.
You need the main Law and Order
Yeah.
with
Ice-T.
Sam. That's SVU.
Damn.
I'm just hearing every character from SVU get
No,
named.
Munch. Yeah, that's SVU. no, not SVU. Elliot. SVU.
I think I've only seen SVU. Like,
It's like it's like the main one that once it came out, it just took over.
I might have only ever seen episodes of SVU, guys. I don't know if I've seen any regular Law and Order.
Olivia, look at this stab wound. This city, though, has no SVU department. They also have no fire department, as we talked about.
They have no that the
Well,
cops
that's 'cause
are.
Ernie Hudson is the SVU.
That's true.
Yeah, he's Olivia Benson.
Oh yeah. What does T-Bird? T-Bird tells him, one of my guys is dead, and Top Dollar's like, oh well, let's mourn him, and he does a big bump of cocaine. He asks him if he's gonna be free tomorrow night to do a job for him, which would be Devil's Night. Mm-hmm. And then it does one of those harsh cuts to Sarah just riding her skateboard through the street. She almost gets hit by a car. Eric saves her. And she's like, I would have been fine. Complains about the rain.
She talks about surfing instead of skateboarding because
Yeah.
all the rain.
And Eric makes the comment, it can't rain all the time. And this is where she realizes, Eric? Because he had his back to her when he first saved her.
He mentions one quote from a song he did, and she immediately knows.
Only
it's
one
him.
person had that shitty quote in their song.
Only one person has this bad of lyrics. Eric's got to be you.
We know Eric that wasn't your strong suit, Eric, is writing lyrics.
Music doesn't seem to be his strong suit because we didn't hear him play a song this whole entire time.
Yeah, we see him play guitar a couple times.
Was he good at it?
Yeah, some of the songs.
With an amp he never stole.
Yeah, that mysterious amp. A lot of the music in this movie I did not like, but when Eric is playing guitar on the rooftop, those were generally some good scenes.
I missed that.
Well, it
completely.
cracks me up, and I was telling you yesterday, the music selection is so early 90s in this movie, and they're in a grunge bar, grunge club, and they're listening to softer music than Evanescence.
Yeah.
And I'm like, stop.
Yeah, the live bands you see in the movie felt very out of place for what we're looking at.
Almost like the Cranberries.
I don't know the
That
Cranberries.
first- Oh,
I know of them, I just don't know their music.
Oh, listen to it. It's not bad. I enjoy some of their stuff, but
Okay.
it's not what those.
It's inappropriate for the movie.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't fit in.
Grunge people back then, I would not
Like-
see in a club like that, listening to that and being all like,
You could tell that the money that they spent on this movie was not on the music. They were like, all right, we only got $6 and a couple pennies left. What can we get for this?
I found some royalty-free music.
And that's exactly what that was.
Albrecht is investigating Shelley and Eric's murder again. He has another officer come up, and she basically stole a file from homicide. She goes, hey, you didn't get this from me. And also, don't say you owe me one. And she's walking away. He's like, I owe you one.
I'll tell you what, when this movie ends, he better get that number.
Is this where we find
They
out
were kind of flirty.
Oh, 100%. She wants him.
a little bit more about his suspension? Because I think they bring it up again.
Not at this moment.
Oh.
I don't
Not
think.
suspension, demotion.
I think a little bit. We find out that he was putting his nose into their murder back in when it first happened, and people didn't like that, and I think that's why he was suspended.
Okay.
Because what's his name?
Top Dollar.
Top Dollar.
Yeah.
I mean, without it being said in the movie, he's running the city.
Yeah, he says that at one point. He goes, "Nothing happens in the city without me knowing." Because when they talk about the pawn shop blowing up, he was surprised. He goes, "I didn't authorize that." They suspect it had something to do with Tintin's murder too. We find out that's where Shelley was fighting the tenant evictions.
And probably a few convictions. He seems like a type of girl who'd be like, I'm a...
Right some wrongs.
Yeah.
Put up a good fight.
Yeah.
Which is probably why it got to where it got to.
Yeah, she wasn't taking no for an answer. It goes to Fun Boy's apartment, which we find out is above the pit.
Yes.
And he's in there with Darla, and they're shooting up. And when I first saw it, my brain immediately went to they're doing heroin.
Right.
Because that's just, in movies, when I see someone shooting up with a needle like that, I think heroin. They're doing morphine?
Yeah.
Apparently.
They are doing morphine.
Is that a thing? Are you getting high off of... Like, do you get high off of morphine?
Oh,
Morphine's a
Yeah.
downer, right?
It's a pain relaxer.
Right.
Or
They
pain,
seem
yeah.
really like relaxed.
Right. But it
was
can be very
very,
addictive.
It just takes your inhibition away.
Yeah, it
Pretty
just
much,
freaking-
like you don't care.
It's a very strong drug. It's just in my mind, I would not think watching a movie, seeing someone shooting drugs, that it's morphine. Yeah, I assumed it was heroin.
Well,
Because
no,
that's
these
a dirty-
Gothamites are a little highbrow.
They have disposable money. You just don't know it.
Exactly.
Eric shows up. The bird shows up first, who I still haven't thought of a name for. The bird shows up first in the Jonas the Raven.
Jonas the Crow.
Heroin is an opioid drug made from morphine.
Oh,
so they're just doing pure heroin.
Oh, they're skipping some steps. They're just going straight for the morphine.
No, I think they were doing heroin, but it's made from morphine. So when he said the line to Darla,
about doing morphine?
Yeah, about morphine. It's just, it's heroin, but it's made from morphine. So
okay, so either way, yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So when he's just like, morphine's bad for you, it's like.
So remember that, kids, when you need to make some.
Also, if you
some heroin.
Google heroin, the first thing that pops up is like a helpline thing. Mm-hmm. It says the first thing that pops up is help is available.
It's like, are you on heroin?
Do you want to stop?
Yeah, the first thing that pops up. I'm probably on the watch list now.
We can get you on methadone.
Are you on our Wi-Fi?
No, I don't
Good.
think so.
I don't need that. They're looking up heroin, or as my friend Justin would say, heron. Heron.
But this scene where the crow flies in while they're about to just really have a good time.
Well, they're already having a good time.
They are feeling
fair,
good, and the crow comes in, and then Eric comes in. Massey's like, "Yeah, you nearly gave me a heart attack," and Eric has he tells him to take his big bird and leave, and Eric tells him something about, well, you've given your orders, now follow it out or something like that, because he has the gun on him, and Eric puts his hand right up to the gun. And he's like, "You're crazy, man." And he shoots him through the hand, and they're all laughing. And Eric puts his hand up, and he's looking through the hole in his hand. And it's a good little puppet hand at first. And then it goes to CGI healing up. Yeah. Funny boy. Fun boy shoots him a few times. And this part was very ironic, because he says to him, "Don't you ever die." Mm-hmm. This is the guy who actually killed him on the set with that gun.
It's so wild.
Yeah, it's so weird watching it in that moment, being like, "Holy shit!" He shoots Eric a few times, and Eric eventually slaps the gun down, and he shoots himself. Funboy shoots himself in the leg, and he has this funny line where he's like, "Look what you did to my sheets," and he passes out from the drugs. Darla runs into the bathroom to hide, and she grabs a razor blade, and with no effort whatsoever, Eric just drags Funboy into the bathroom unconscious and throws him into the bathtub, turns the water on.
When I saw it, I was like, I don't think people realize what dead weight feels like. It's just when somebody is not helping, like if they're asleep or if you're trying to do a prank and drag a friend
trying
somewhere.
to move someone who's passed out drunk.
Dude, I'm not grabbing someone by one leg and one arm and dragging them across an entire
apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he lifts him and puts him in a bathtub. And this is the part where he grabs Darla and he
squeezes the
heroin. He uses another one of his mysterious powers to make all of the drugs seep out of her arm in the injection hole, which looked gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she...
he could have been used on the streets. It's a shame he had to go.
Instead of using his powers of vigilantism, he could have helped clean some people up.
He could have really saved some babies. That could have,
done a lot of good.
Yeah.
Could have walked through a hospital and just been like, "You're healed."
Let me get
Jesus
these
Christ.
NICU babies. Yeah.
You're hitting a little close to home there, huh?
Well, I wasn't born on drugs.
He had some vengeance.
He was full of vengeance.
Yeah, he had some vengeance.
And he let all of it out on this gang.
Mm-hmm. I feel like if he had some forethought, he could have did a better job. Because, just run of the mill, he's pretty good.
I mean, I think he did pretty good for doing this all in 24 hours. Mm. He comes back to life that one night. He kills 3 of them in one night. And then the next night he kills way more in one little room.
And it's never daytime.
It is. There's a few shots in between that first night and the day Albrecht gets suspended. Because Sarah wakes up and Darla's clean.
That's right.
There's a few shots that's daytime. But I don't think we see any of the villains in that time. I think we only see good characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the bad guys are only active at night. Like gargoyles.
Also, apparently there's a deleted scene where Funboy attacks Eric with a razor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And apparently...
Is it the same razor?
Might be. Apparently he felt the attacks and they also did not heal.
Oh.
And the explanation was that because he used his powers to get rid of the drugs in what's her name's
Darla.
arm, apparently it was preventing him from regenerating.
I think they probably went a little too far-fetched.
Yeah.
And then they were like, we got to reel back.
So he, they didn't heal, so he taped up his arms.
That's why he has
And
that
that's why
drastic
his
outfit
arms are
change.
taped up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But all that's deleted, and that is not really explained.
Yeah, which is weird because everything heals after that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Everything heals, and also it never explains why his clothes are so tattered.
I just thought
Well,
he put
'cause
duct
he
tape
keeps
on.
Because
getting
of the
shot.
knife. Apparently, there was the lead scene
the
when he
knife.
got attacked with a razor.
Okay.
And he was shot a couple times.
He was, but like his
thought-
whole midriff is taped up. Both of his sleeves are taped up. He's got it taped up over his hands.
I thought he was just doing an aesthetic thing. He was like, you know what, guys? I got my makeup redid. Let me.
Apparently, that's
killer
why.
is evolving.
Because he got attacked by Fun Boy with the razor. And
Oh,
that's
okay.
why he taped himself up.
Huh.
I just thought he was trying to keep his clothes together.
That's
And I
exactly
only
what
found that out because I was looking up the morphine thing.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense though, because later on when he actually can't heal. Yeah. Okay.
Because the crow got injured.
Mm-hmm. But at this point, it doesn't make sense because the crow didn't get injured. He just helped somebody. He can only use his powers to hurt others, not help them.
Exactly.
I guess maybe
Very
there was,
Gotham.
The crow is also evil.
maybe there's like a cool down period from using the powers. Maybe he can only use them
Your chakra's too low.
so much before it's just like, all right, you gotta wait now or something like that. It's really arbitrary.
He used up all of his mana. He's got to roll his dice and try to get a nat 20.
Wow.
So he just got shot. He just cleaned up Sarah's mom.
He threw Fun Boy in the bathtub.
And now this is when Grange is going to come in and see him because he's taking care of Fun Boy's body.
Yeah, because Darla came running downstairs. He goes up with the gun. And when he goes in, Fun Boy is on his bedroom floor with a chest full of needles. And he looks over at the window, and Eric's just in the window, and Eric just goes, shh, and he jumps out the window.
Flips right out that window.
Just boop.
And he's just gone.
Grange is freaked out by it. He runs over to the window, doesn't see anything. Now Eric goes to Albridge's apartment, Ernie Hudson.
It's the best scene for him, really.
This is great. Ernie Hudson's just standing at his kitchen table. He's got a Coors banquet beer in his hand. He's wearing a white t-shirt. He's in nothing but his underwear. And he's still got his police hat on, which is really funny to me. Eric comes in, scares the hell out of him. And he's like, man, you're supposed to be dead. And Eric just real calmly goes, you still have your hat on. And Eric goes, oh, shit. Take that off. I don't want to look silly.
In my own house.
In my own house. They talk for a little bit. And this is where Ernie Hudson's like, man, what happened to you? You were dead. I saw you. Eric doesn't remember. He says, I don't know what happened. Ernie Hudson tells him about, you were thrown out of a 4-story window. You were shot. You were stabbed. Shelley was beaten and raped. And she went to the hospital. She fought for 30 hours, but eventually her body gave out. I think this is the part where Eric uses another power we haven't seen before, and he touches Ernie Hudson's head. And Ernie Hudson kind of just lets it happen. No words are said. He just reaches out and touches his face.
Well, a man did just break into his house. And
A man who's supposed to be dead.
yeah.
Eric sees everything Ernie Hudson saw the night, and he finds out that Ernie Hudson was there in the hospital with Shelley that whole 30 hours, hoping she would get better. And unfortunately, she didn't. She died. Ernie Hudson lights a cigarette.
That man's smoking like a whole chimney throughout this entire film.
I think every scene he's in, he has a cigarette almost.
He does.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's not one scene without him.
Yeah.
Except in
The church?
the police station.
Even in the police station,
Nah,
there's a
he
couple
gets-
of them he's smoking, yeah. But
Especially at the end.
You
Yeah.
can only really get away with that in the 90s.
oh, yeah. You watch movies in the 80s, people smoking walking through an airport, people smoking in hospitals. Oh, yeah.
I found out that's why like old pictures look so hazy and smoky. It's not like an effect of the camera. It's literally because the room is full of smoke because people are like smoking.
Wow.
It could be.
Yeah.
I never thought of that. Let's bring it back.
No.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Everyone gets a vape pen. Everybody. Eric has a comment to him about the cigarette, though, and he tells him, you shouldn't smoke. These things will kill you. And he
While he takes
takes a drag off of it, yeah. Well, he can't die. He knows he's fine. He asked about Ernie Hudson. He's like, "You married? We're actually separated. We're gonna get a divorce."
Course.
The cop with a bad relationship with their spouse. He says something about Shelley Rochelle used to never think anything was trivial. Everything was important.
She used to love the small things, something like
Yes. That line was apparently improvised.
that. He used to think they were trivial, and he's just like, nothing's trivial.
That's it.
Aww.
This man really, really was in love with this woman.
Oh yeah, it's almost on the form of clinginess.
No.
I'm joking.
Well, to him, she
joking.
just died. It hasn't been a year for him. It's been it's been a day.
A year.
Yeah. Then we jump back to Gideon finally telling Top Dollar about the
Can we let's call him by a different name. I can't take him seriously.
Michael Wincott.
Yeah.
Top dollar.
Let's just call
Top
him Mike.
Dollar bill.
Michael Wincott.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because every time you say Top Dollar, I'm like, no.
All their names are bad.
Yeah.
Jeremy
His is
said
the
it.
worst.
Every nickname in this movie is bad.
They're all terrible. All the names are bad
Like-
except Eric, I guess.
I just think all the nicknames are bad. T-Bird, Tintin, Fun Boy, Top Dollar.
Top Dollar. It's not even Top Dollar, which would have been preferable.
No,
it's
gotta
top.
enunciate.
It's a white guy.
Gotta enunciate everything.
Also, did you hear how he was talking?
Yeah, he's saying every syllable in that name
He definitely called himself Top Dollar or something like
I
that.
don't like it.
with that long, greasy hair.
Top Dollar. They had to have two long-haired guys fight it out at the end. That was the whole thing.
Gideon, John Polito's character is finally telling Top Dollar about what happened at the pawn shop, and he is just in a pissy mood this entire time. These people, he knows these people are maniacs, but he's still just running his fucking mouth. And Michael Wincott is very calm in every scene he's in. Gideon says something like, "You people are fucking weirdos," and Wincott's like, "Yeah, that's fair." He's just very, very accepting of things he says. He tells him, it's Eric Draven, the guy that died a year ago. He says he's coming to kill everybody. He's sitting there complaining about his hand bleeding. He's talking shit about the sister, and then this is where you find out they are brother and sister. He goes, "Yeah, we got my father's daughter. You don't see the resemblance?" And he's just like, "You people are fucking weird." And he's just running his mouth, and he tells them everything, and finally Top Dollar grabs this big sword out of a wall sword safe and just shoves it through Polito's throat.
A wall sword safe.
Yeah, a wall sword safe. And he says, "How'd you ever fucking die?" And he grabs Grange's gun and shoots him.
Which is an amazing looking gun.
It's a weird looking little gun.
It's like you're holding it like a pistol, but it's almost the
they cock
size
it like
of
a
a
shotgun.
shotgun. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it fires like a pistol, but he cocks it like a shotgun. You
It's
see
weird.
it later at the church.
And it doesn't look like a shotgun style. It's just a weird futuristic.
It looks like
not
some made-up comic book gun they just made into a real thing.
That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, one of my notes here just says sister fucker.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
Incest is in this movie.
Oh, this is also where he
Which
tells
is
them
weird because it doesn't play a role. It has no significance other than
it makes them creepier.
yeah.
That's it. They
yeah.
completely left it out of the
I
movie.
think that was the whole thing.
Absolutely.
They were actually trying to make those, these are creepy, weird people that do sick things, like burning down tons of places the night before Halloween.
Look, these guys rape people. This guy fucks his sister. They're bad. Get
They're
it?
bad
You
people.
want them dead.
Can we make these people worse?
They're like, we need you. Sorry. We need you not to root for them in any way possible.
They have no redeeming qualities.
None.
That's true.
None. Gideon also mentions the bird to them. This is where they all start to piece together the bird thing. Because he mentions he had a bird with him in the pawn shop. Grange mentions he saw a bird at Fun Boy's place. They're finally figuring out that bird is connected to this guy somehow.
At least the sister is.
The sister picked up on it real fucking quick that bird is important. After Sarah gets back to her apartment, she mentioned she roots through her albums and finds Eric's album called Hangman's Joke, and it's got that song with the line "It can't rain all the time." She realizes that that guy was Eric in the street, but wait, Eric's dead. We get a little bird POV flying over the city, and T-Bird and Skank stop at a bodega, and when T-Bird gets in the car, the bird lands on the hood, and he's about to draw his gun, but Eric pops up in the back seat ready for him. He says, "Who are you?" And Eric's got that great line, "I'm your passenger. Drive."
Oh, yeah.
Did he like teleport in or?
Yeah, I think
was
well, he
probably
never
just waiting in the
shows,
car.
but
I
yeah.
imagine he was just waiting in the car. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We haven't seen him teleport. Like he's just like Batman. He's just quick to disappear when you're not looking.
Okay.
The funniest one was when he gets out of that car, Ernie Hudson's car later on. You can hear the door open. You hear the footsteps.
I did not.
Yeah.
I've got to listen back to it.
This whole car chase with T-Bird's car,
And-
Eric makes him just drive,
Yeah.
floor it, and he's going so fast. The cops notice. They're chasing. Skank gets hit by a little putt car, and he takes it from the guy, and he's chasing after them. This was all done with miniatures.
Oh.
Well, whenever the cops were pulling out, did you not see that just iconic, like goofy scene where the white cop, the passenger,
Spills his coffee.
spills his
Yeah.
coffee and makes the dumbest thing, and his partner is just hightailing it, and then that's when
T-Bird. Eric.
Skank.
yes, Skank. This is when they're about to. Never mind.
Oh, when the cops hit the.
Corey's remembering the crash at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm skipping the whole scene.
Yeah, but the cop does do the funny thing where he spills the coffee all over himself.
Well, he just looks like the dumbest. Like
He's a goober.
the reaction was so
Yeah.
dumb. He's like,
Oh, coffee.
I mean, it probably was hot.
It was hot.
So that whole chase is done with miniatures because they couldn't afford to do a real chase scene. So anytime you see any of the wide shots of the cars going after each other, they're miniatures, little cars, and it's a set.
I wonder what the budget was for this movie.
It made its money.
I think the budget was $18 million.
That's a
And
lot
they
of money.
couldn't afford a cop chase?
Well, they would probably have to close down some streets.
Oh, that's true.
and-
But like,
I don't know. Most of the shots of the city in this movie, even when we're on the street, it looks like a set. I never got the sense that I was actually in a big city. I always felt like I was on a set.
Well, it also was weird because it was a very empty feeling city.
Yeah,
it
there was never a lot of crowds around. Like the ending of American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
Like when all those people huddle around the porno theater, I never got that same sense of livelihood in this city. Granted, this city seems like it's so riddled with crime, nobody would want to fucking live
Nobody
there.
wants to live there.
No, except for the cops.
Also, it's Devil's Night, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So they probably were just like, yo, y'all don't be on the street. There's probably a good rule of thumb that if it is Devil's Night or Halloween, just don't be on the street. Although there were kids in that.
Those
movie.
kids
fucking
trick-or-treating.
kids, Yeah.
There were kids in that.
Those
movie.
kids have bad parents.
And
Very
he-
bad.
And
All
he
the
was
kids have
laughing
bad
and
parents
having a
in this
great
movie,
time.
Apparently,
Yeah, he was really excited to see those trick-or-treaters too.
Which was
Definitely
weird.
Was. Mm-hmm. It was a little bit weird.
After the car chase, Skank gets hit by the cop car and he falls out the other side, and he's still chasing after T-Bird.
That's a good loyal friend.
Skank is desperately trying to get to his buddy, and
I would have been like, well, hopefully I see him again.
he's probably dead. We see that Eric has tied T-Bird up to the inside of his car.
With all that tape he had from, his outfit.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, it could have been. He's got rope around him too, and he's in the trunk, and you see the trunk is just full of fucking explosives. There's like full-on cartoon TNT in there and all kinds of shit. And he's like, "Who are you, man? What do you want? Talk to me. Talk to me." And then he realizes who he's looking at. Eric never says a single word in this entire scene. Never says anything to him. And there's one shot of his face, and I was wondering, I didn't look this up, but I was wondering if this was filmed after he'd already died.
Maybe.
Because you don't see Brandon Lee's face except for one little shot.
Well,
they
they
have to do reshots or reshoots.
They might have. And that just because the way this was filmed, it's all looking at T-Bird. You only see Eric's hands doing stuff. You never see his face. So I was wondering if this was filmed after he had died.
Well, they said there was the scene they shot of him actually dying in real life was one of the last ones, and they only had like 2 or 3 scenes left with Eric,
Yeah.
and that's when it sadly happened. So there's only not even a handful of scenes with his body double.
Yeah. I was wondering if this was one of them.
It could be.
Might have been.
Yeah. And T-Bird realizes who he is, and he says this prayer about seeing the devil and knowing his awful goodness or something.
Yeah, the devil saw. He stood there and realized how awful goodness was. Something crazy like that.
Something like that, yeah. And he just keeps repeating it because he realizes what he's looking at, and he's not comprehending, or he's kind of in shock. He's looking at a dead man.
He's definitely going through it.
Yeah, and Eric duct tapes his head to the headrest, and he puts what looks like some kind of flare or explosive device in between his legs,
Like
and he
an
hits the gas, and he just drives off. And as he's driving away, Eric does this little 2-finger wave, which was really great. He's like, "See you later, buddy."
It's like an incendiary grenade.
Yeah, because he drives off this pier in the car, and T-Bird turns into a Firebird.
Boo.
I love it. Pontiac at his finest, baby.
And Skank finally shows up and sees that. He catches up with him just in time to see T-Bird blow up.
Yep.
And I swear, Skank, when he goes to Top Dollar,
He just has that episode.
I just feel so bad for him because I honestly think I'm like, now I wanted this to be my career, but I swear when I saw Skank in that scene, I was like, he's not fully there mentally.
He's probably high on drugs.
That's
I
true.
assumed he was on something.
Because I mean, I felt so bad for him because I
He
mean,
was drinking.
all the drugs.
His friend just died.
All
Yeah.
3 of his friends just died.
Yeah,
And
all of his
now-
buddies are dead. He's the last man standing.
As he
feel like-
tells us multiple times.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's
And
coming
then-
to get me.
And then he tries to do. Man.
Now, I did not feel bad for him at all because he's also one of the rapists.
That's
He is.
was he?
Yes.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
I didn't know because he's like you barely see him.
He's
doing
holding
any-
Shelly down at one point.
Oh, I didn't even remember seeing
Yeah,
it. Never
like
mind.
as a fact of you can definitely feel the pain he's feeling about losing his friends. I definitely get that what you're coming from, but
Oh yeah,
I was like-
go back to that.
I was like, this guy's a fucking shitbag, and he does though. He does seem like he's not fully there.
Like even with the drugs and stuff, it's like he was like the one that they just took care of in the group
Yeah,
and never
yeah.
took seriously because
Yeah.
it was like maybe he's one of their brothers.
Yeah, even like what Tintin says to him at the bar. Tintin's making fun of him. Pussies drink last. Yeah, so he might be the quote unquote dumb one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That
Definitely,
they just
yeah.
look after him.
Maybe
And
he grew up in the same foster home with.
Ooh,
could be, yeah.
He was just there hanging out.
He was just a buddy.
He was actually friends with one of them. He wasn't even a criminal.
Wow.
Think
He
of
was
it
just-
that way.
He was just a friend they brought along. He's like, I didn't really know y'all did all this crazy crime stuff.
This is the next part is where Albrecht gets suspended.
Oh,
This is one
when
of
he
the
walks into.
This is one of the daytime shots. He's walking through the police station. That asshole cop
The detective.
who has a textured face.
To say the least, like that man had either really bad acne scars or like suffered from like, I don't know.
Smallpox.
Yeah.
He thinks that Albrecht stole a file from him in homicide, and he's not supposed to work. He's not working homicide. He's just a beat cop, and he makes this threat to him. And at the end of it, Ernie Hudson just goes, "Good speech. I mean, you really had it there. I didn't want to interrupt you. You were really on a flow."
Didn't that female cop that he talked to at the beginning, didn't she steal the file?
She did.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's just like, you didn't get this from me.
Yep.
And gave it to him.
Yep.
Okay.
But Ernie Hudson's not going to rat her
Yeah.
out.
Going back to it then.
Because he knows.
And
That could be
this is where the guy
a possibility.
tells him, you're going to get suspended. For what? He says something for something like insubordination.
Something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And so Ernie Hudson, for the rest of this movie, is now a suspended cop. He's not, at that point, he's not a cop. And Sarah goes back to the apartment where Eric is burning photographs of him and Shelly. She comes in, trying to talk to him because she realized who he was. She even says that.
He has nothing but time.
Oh, he's got so much time. This is the only time we see him in the daytime.
Like I feel like if he was just he could have had his business done if he was murdering during the day. Like they're sleeping, everyone does their crime at night. Just break in while they're sleeping and shoot them and then leave. He could have been done by noon.
Bop, bop, bop.
He
All
had to
right.
find them.
You're avenged, Shelly.
He had to find all those people.
Maybe his powers only work at night.
Oh,
When the crow comes out.
Speaking of his powers and the whole thing, he can see what the crow sees. That does also lean back into the theme of eyes that they were talking about.
The crow
Yeah.
sees
The eyes
the
see
soul.
everything. Like
Yep.
the crow's eyes were seeing things, and you would get shots of the crow's eyes, and you get shots of Eric's eyes. And
Eric can see through the crow's eyes.
Yeah.
The sister
Yeah.
took that woman's eyes. They burned and friggin' snorted it.
Yep.
I don't understand. I think the man is trying to be all powerful, but the only way you can be powerful in his mind is through a person's eyes.
They had some kind of thing with eyeballs. She definitely was just like the eyes hold power or something. Like
Yeah,
that.
she says a line like that. The eyes hold power.
Tell you what, mine don't hold power unless you have my contacts in because they can't see shit.
for real.
Tell you what.
So in that way, it kind of leaned into that theme of the crow. One of the powers that the crow had was being able to see.
It's like it shares his vision with Eric.
I like it.
So she kind of was she knew what was going on with the crow and Eric.
Definitely. At the apartment, though, this is Shelly is like about to leave because Eric's not responding to her, and then he finally pops out, and she's like, "I thought you cared." He's like, "I did care," and they have this nice little hug, and
You have the same feeling I have.
Right? It was like, and you're right about this man caring about you, but you only put one flower on his grave. Like, ma'am.
oh, this is also the first time we see him covered in tape.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's in this scene where he's burning all the pictures that we finally see him covered in all the duct tape, which isn't explained in the movie because he wasn't that horrifically fucked up at any point.
He was healing as he was going.
But he was healing, but also his clothes weren't that
Tattered,
ruined and tattered. We never saw it, but it makes more sense, that scene Jeremy told us about.
I want to see that deleted scene and see how bad it gets.
Yeah, I mean, they could have just left that in, and it could have had nothing to do with his powers. His clothes don't heal.
Or at least maybe like have like a split, shot of like his clothes being shredded and then him, having a Barbie dream house situation where he's like taping it together,
Like he's leaving the apartment after it's done, tethered.
Yeah, I mean, just they could have left something in. He's wrapped in plastic.
Oh, yeah. And it's fantastic.
Skank goes to Top Dollar, and this is where he has his little freak out and meltdown.
I thought we weren't calling him Top Dollar.
No,
we have to because that's what he is.
That's his name.
We want to be accurate
I
for the
hate
podcast.
that's his name.
I hate it.
Babe, Top Dollar.
We wouldn't want to confuse anybody listening.
You can't call him Michael Wincott the whole time.
We've been calling Joe Pilatos. Joe Pilatos.
Joe Polito.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Polito. Mr. Gideon.
But we can't call Michael Wincott.
No,
Okay.
Top dollar.
Top Dollar. It's more fun just to mess with you.
I hate it. It makes me cringe.
If we ever play Jackbox again,
No. No.
we're doing the crow theme names.
No. No.
I'm gonna be Darla.
We're doing the crow theme names. I'm definitely gonna be Top Dollar or Dollar Bill.
Nope.
Top Dollar or Bottom Dollar, which is what his
Bottom
henchman's
cent.
name should have been
Pocket
instead
change.
of Grange.
Grange.
He should have been Dollar. He should have been pocket change.
They if only somebody was named 50 Cent in that movie.
That would have been hilarious.
Or if 50 Cent had been in the movie.
Oh my god,
Instead of Tony Todd, it was 50 Cent.
it was 94.
That's true.
He was busy pissing off people.
He could have been 10-10. A little more, little rugged.
Booker T should have been 10.
Oh, yeah.
100%. They couldn't afford Booker T. That's why.
Yeah, it was height of Booker T's. Maybe not the height.
Was it?
We're getting there.
In the
'Cause-
90s?
Yeah, because like Stone Cold really hit it off in like what, 96, 98?
Maybe.
I have absolutely no idea. Skank is telling them about what happened. He's freaking out. They're getting annoyed. Top Dollar does have one funny line where he says, maybe we should just record this and play it back in slow motion.
Wow.
Because he's just having such a bad freak out.
Because they can't understand him.
Can't understand
And
him. He's
they
just
feel the
rambling.
same ways. They're like, and there's a time where he touches Top Dollar.
Oh, he tries? Yeah. And
And
Grange friggin'...
Oh, yeah. He's like, don't.
They
touch
all hit
me.
him in this scene. And Top Dollar is leaving, and he tells Grange to watch him. And Grange literally just sits on the table right across from him, like 2 feet away. He's like, I'm going to babysit this motherfucker.
Well, that's what made me feel that way because he always gave T-Bird respect in a way, what he earned. And anytime anybody else's name was brought up, it was very known, like, oh, yeah, him. But Skank's in there, and they're like, you can just never be, and that's fine with us.
Well, to be fair, though, he has meetings with 3 people. He has a meeting with T-Bird, Polito, and Skank. Skank is having a meltdown, not calm.
Right.
Can barely get information out. Polito is running his fucking mouth the whole time. T-Bird is the only one that is cool, calm, and collected the whole time. So I think that Top Dollar just likes people who are
Cool under pressure.
cool under pressure, calm. I don't think he likes people who overreact.
Well, I just meant how do I say it? Whenever their names are brought up or anything like that, he actually, it's like he can recognize that they were a person, but Skank, he wants him gone as fast because it's like in his mind, he's dirty.
He also even asks Skank what his name is later.
He
He doesn't know who Skank is.
He doesn't care one bit about him being there at all to find out information about what's been going on.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
That's what I was meaning.
I got you. This is where we go back to the hot dog stand one more time.
Poor Mickey, pour one out for my boy.
Mickey in his hot dog stand. Maxie. Ernie Hudson's been suspended. Oh, we actually totally missed the fact that Tony Todd visited the grave and saw the open grave earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
And these are all the daytime scenes. Mm-hmm. And Sarah and Darla have that nice little breakfast. Darla's clean. She's trying to make Sarah breakfast, and Sarah's giving her attitude because she's mad at her.
Fair.
Fair. And she goes, "You win the lottery or something?" Darla finally is like, "Look, I'm not good at this mom shit," and she's about to throw these eggs away.
Perfectly good, beautiful eggs.
Yeah, because she's like, "What kind of eggs do you like?" "I don't like eggs." Sarah is being defensive the entire time
because she can't tell that her mom's changed. Like,
right,
it's like a minute in,
right, and then she's like, "I like them over easy." And the last time we see Darla, they're smiling together in the kitchen making these eggs. So that's good.
Where did she get all this money? Because that was like a detailed breakfast. It was like, weren't you about to shoot up heroin? Who bought those drugs?
She's over here, salt, pepper.
Yeah.
Yes, because salt and pepper are so expensive, and eggs are expensive. It's not 2024. Eggs are cheap in the 90s.
Okay, maybe.
90s.
She did get bacon. That's an ass amount of bacon, too.
I don't know. It's nice to see that Sarah has something nice going for her now.
That the people who previously took care of her.
The people who actually liked her and took care of her, yes.
Are dead, yeah.
So the hot dog stand, Ernie Hudson shows up, and you can tell he's suspended because he has his police uniform on, but he doesn't have a tie anymore. And his shirt's unbuttoned.
And driving his
personal
car.
He's driving his personal car. So you can tell now he's definitely suspended. And he asked her if she needs a friend to walk her home because he's still looking after her because Shelley asked him to. It goes to the rooftop guitar scene where Eric's on the rooftop with the
Eddie
amp.
Muntzing it.
Huh?
Eddie Muntzing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's up there just playing guitar and he does this nice riff. And then he smashes the guitar and the amp.
Smashes them.
Very 90s of him.
Very 90s.
Very rock star.
That's appropriate. He was a rock star. And now we're at the trash club meeting with all these, I don't want to call them gangsters. They're just criminals.
Yeah.
And they're talking about Devil's Night, and Michael Wincott,
thank you,
top dollar,
no,
has this great thing where he's complaining that Devil's Night is too mainstream. Mm-hmm. They have greeting cards now. Mm-hmm. But he has this great line about...
In Gotham alone, I would love a Devil's Night greeting card. If Hallmark started selling them, let me get one every year. Everyone's getting one.
Oh, man, this one's got pop-up flames on it. It's got those little audio recordings where you can hear police sirens.
A literal dumpster fire.
Yeah, there you go.
That's my apartment.
Oh, no. That's a photo.
Y'all are going to be doing a crow-themed Halloween at this rate.
Oh yeah. No.
Hey, I'm not. I'm for it.
I'm coming dressed as top dollar.
I'm gonna dress as Tintin.
No, I've got to be Booker T.
But Top Dollar has this thing about, we have some fun, we burn some shit, we make profit. How the fuck are they making profit? They're not doing anything but burning buildings down.
I think stocks.
Insurance fraud.
Because it was a big thing when T-Bird came up. He's like, Arcade Games, it's burning down. And, of course, he's just saying we did our job. But I think it's also with business and property management and stuff like that. He's just trying to take over the city and own it all.
Maybe.
It could also be insurance fraud. But with how many fires are getting set, it's just
that first night, they were like, we have 143 fires, and they say that's a low number.
Yeah, and they're paying out all this money.
It's they're just causing chaos, and it seems goofy as shit to me that they're making a profit on it. I think that's just one of those lines they put in there to try to justify these people being assholes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. But, yeah, that insurance is paying out.
They're like, they can't just be shitty people. They also have to be capitalist.
Of course. But he's pissed off that it's so mainstream, and he says he doesn't want to do it anymore. And there's a man at this table that says, and this is the only time you see him, it's just a quick shot, he has one line. He says, "What about Devil's Night?" And I looked him up because he looked familiar to me. The actor's name is Thomas Rosales Jr. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. I don't know if you guys saw him or even remember that line, but he looks familiar to me immediately.
Of course he does.
He is the guy who gets stuck to the T-Rex's foot in the Lost World Jurassic Park. Carter. He's the one that gets bubble gummed.
I don't remember him.
You don't remember that?
No.
Really?
At the T-Rex when they attack the camp and they're running and he falls into a puddle and the T-Rex steps on him and he gets stuck to its foot for a second.
Like, I remember the scene. I don't remember the guy.
Yeah, it's him. He's the same guy that the asshole that shocks the little dinosaur is like, hey, I'm gonna go take a piss.
Oh, he's that guy?
He's the guy with the ranchero music in the headphones.
Oh, that guy.
That was him. I was like, damn, that guy looked familiar. Yeah.
That was a hell of a catch.
Yes.
Well, he does love Jurassic Park.
I remember him saying it earlier.
5 pointless sequels, but I love that original. But I recognize that guy immediately. He plays Carter in Jurassic World.
Dang.
Or Lost World. He also is in Commando at the beginning. He's a terrorist in Commando.
You in Commando.
I wish I had your memory on
Sorry,
that.
not Commando. Universal Soldier. Universal Soldier, he plays a terrorist.
I think I remember that movie.
At the very beginning, when they the first mission, you see the soldiers go on. He's the lead terrorist in that movie. It's the only scene he's in. My brain is full of movie facts because I have no room for sports information because I don't care about sports. So I loaded up with movie facts, which is why I started this podcast and I dragged you guys into it.
You didn't drag me.
I came
Cor-
kicking and screaming.
I was about to say some of you came kicking and screaming.
I just woke up late.
I had to promise Jeremy Power Ranger figurines and all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff.
Eric crashes this meeting, and he tells them that he just wants Skank. And if you look at my notes, this is where I realized his name was Skank and not Shank.
I feel like Shank would have been a better.
It would have been so much better.
I'm surprised it wasn't Shank.
But we had to stick to having really bad names, so
Yeah.
Skank it was.
Yeah.
Couldn't be a cool one.
I feel like it probably was Shank, and then someone like misread it, and they were like, "Just roll with
Shank
it."
is a little bit too respectable. We're going with Skank.
Skank. And Eric has this great line. He says to Top Dollar, he goes, I just want him. And Top Dollar says, well, you can't have him. And during the little meeting, he asks him, like, what's your name, boy? And he says, Skank. He goes, Skank, well, I'm sure your mother's proud. How do you feel? He goes, I feel like a little worm on a big hook. He has these wild monologues, Top Dollar does.
It's crazy because he knew exactly what he was being used as. Bait. And
Yeah.
he wasn't going to live.
They have this shootout, and this is the part of the movie I really didn't like. And I think it was because the way it was filmed. It was a lot of grainy, slow motion, quick cut shots. And it just felt like a John Woo movie to me. Because it's a shootout. He's using double pistols and stuff.
Yeah.
And Eric doesn't do that for any other part of the movie.
He doesn't use a gun at all.
Feels slightly out of place.
Yeah, it felt like a different film. And it didn't need to be a full gang shootout killing all these people in the movie.
I think it would have been cool if in John Wick 4, where they have that scene from above, where you
Yes,
see the fight
yes.
play through. That'd be really fun in that scene.
That would have been fun, yeah. But it was mainly the thing for me is all the gunplay he does, because he doesn't really use a gun at any other point in the movie except for here.
He's so creative in his kills, and then we get to this scene. I'm like, where did he get the guns from anyway?
He's just grabbing them off the table. The one thing he does do in this scene before he gets to Skank is when he gets shot, because he just stands there and lets them shoot him initially, and Top Dollar's like, that had to hurt. And this one goon walks over to look at the body, and he goes,
Gone.
He's gone. And he looks away, and then he gets shot through the head. And that's the first time I think we see Eric use a gun. And this when the shootout starts, they're all firing. He's killing them. He does kill a few people with swords from the sword vault.
Yep.
And when it's... Jerry?
He used that gun to blow up the shop.
Yes.
Gideon.
Oh,
shop.
he did use a shotgun to blow up the shop.
Yeah, so
That's true.
He has already been established as, hey, this guy's a gunslinger. But
He didn't kill anyone
he
with
didn't
that
kill
gun,
anyone
though.
with it, but he definitely has used a gun.
I mean,
But he doesn't use that shotgun again. That shotgun's gone.
I think he
is.
just uses the weapon they're using against him.
I
That's
mean,
just
he
what- that's
he
just
definitely
like-
does that, yeah.
And then he also pointed Fun Boy's gun.
Pointed.
He didn't shoot it. He didn't shoot Fun Boy with the gun, but he picked it up.
Oh, yeah, he threw it to the
Yeah, he
side.
picked it up, threw it to the side.
Yeah,
So
it's just...
I get where you're
That's
coming from. It
hash
does
browns.
feel kind of out of place because now all of a sudden he's shooting.
Yeah.
But I mean...
I didn't need this in the movie.
I feel like somebody got a wild idea and wanted to run with it.
If it had been...
That's fair.
If it had been the kind of thing where he goes in, they shoot him all to hell, and he gets back up, and all of those fucking guys just left.
Ooh.
They're like, hey, we don't want any part of this. And then he has some creative way to kill Skank, and the three main villains leave like they do. I'd have been fine with that. I didn't need this bloodbath of a scene. Like, yeah, they're bad people, but it just, the way he kills these people and the way it was shot, it fell out of place for me.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It was the disappearing act for me, and then dragging people under the
I liked
table
that,
and then
actually.
disappeared. Well, I was just like, "This is a horror movie now."
Yeah,
like
I
did you
kind of
just
like that.
It's
It was
like-
goofy as shit. Don't get me wrong. It was goofy as shit, but it
reminded-
was kind of funny.
It reminded me of that time you were playing Hitman and you're going through that house and you're killing people and dragging them and putting their bodies in the freezer.
Oh yeah.
If you just had like a
man.
freezer full of bodies, and I was like, "What in the serial killer is this?"
Somebody's gonna go. I need some. Can you go get the pancakes out of the freezer? Yeah.
Oh no.
Bodies on bodies.
Who is this?
I
Oh,
thought
shoot.
of The Dark Knight,
Yeah, yeah.
but I already said that earlier.
Ooh.
That
Oh,
is
this
the
gave you
scene-
other Dark Knight vibes.
the scene you were just talking
Oh,
about.
the mob scene in The Dark
mob
Knight.
scene.
Yes,
That-
yes,
I
definitely.
immediately thought of that because I'm just like, dang, this is just like that scene where all the criminals met up in The Dark Knight, and then the Joker shows up.
I will say though, in The Dark Knight, the Joker is his dialogue in that scene is phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
The way he delivers and everything, where Eric doesn't have that. Eric has very few lines in this scene. He does say at one point, like he's like, I want Skank. Go ahead and shoot or whatever.
well, The Dark Knight did come after this movie.
It's true. And he also says, you're all gonna die.
So they definitely had an opportunity to be like, what if we did this scene, but better?
With very little violence.
I was gonna say
In that
Dark
scene,
Knight
Joker-
stole it and
Yeah.
made it better.
I mean, he didn't need to because he had a,
He had that bomb.
he's like, I could just blow you all up.
He goes,
so-
let's not blow this out of proportion.
Boo.
That's not my line. That's Christopher Nolan wrote that.
So he very much could have walked in with just a bomb and been like, all right, I'm gonna need y'all to,
Give me that guy.
yeah, give me
I just want him.
because it's not gonna kill me if I blow this room up. I feel like that would have been a nice, clean way to. But then y'all would have known for a fact that they lifted that straight from The Crow and slapped it onto
That's true.
The Dark Knight.
Right before this stuff happens, the bird shows up first.
Always.
And
lands
Top
on the
Dollar
table.
has that line, how the hell did that thing get in here?
This is when
And Eric walks
I think this is when Nico, what was it?
Mika?
Mika.
Micah, I think they call her.
Micah?
Did they ever say her name in the movie?
I don't think they ever said
This
her
is
name.
the half sister.
They just referred to her as his sister. But
Where's
the
Brooke?
name is spelled Myca. I think we've been calling her Micah,
Yeah,
although I'm sure we're saying it wrong.
probably. But yeah,
The actress is Bei Ling.
moving forward though,
Wait.
that was definitely, that did seem a little out of place. Now
Oh,
to
that's
bring it
the
up,
new Crow.
that he just went full on gunfight.
Yeah, he went full on John Woo.
That's when she really, you can see, I don't know if it had already connected and this is what made sure it stayed in her, but you can see her eyes when she sees a crow. She realizes that anytime it's coming down the crow's ear, and she tries to grab it.
Yeah, she
almost
starts-
has it.
She's sneaking up on it like a cartoon. Yep.
Mhm. She's like, I'm gonna vanish and I'm gonna get this crow, and nobody cares one bit.
Because they did all say that, just like the bird shows up and then the guy shows up. So when the bird showed up, she was just like, "Oh, that guy's coming."
Yep, here he comes. In all the commotion though, Top Dollar, Micah, and Grange all get out. I think they bring like he grabs one sword as he's leaving. He finally grabs Skank out from under the table, and he says something about he calls him by his name, and Skank goes, "I'm not Skank. That's Skank over there. He's dead." And Eric just goes, "Yeah, he is," and he throws him out this fucking window, and he lands on the top of a police car,
Oh
Very apt.
yeah.
which I thought was pretty good. And that's when the police rush in. They rush in after everything's done, and they tell Eric, "Don't move, freeze." And he does this little side dance.
Yeah.
Exit stage left.
Yes, very much exit stage left.
He is a theater kid.
He is yes. He's running across the rooftops. He gets shot a bunch. I think he's probably still healing from the shootout. And Ernie Hudson is driving by, watching him from the roof, trying to keep up with him. And he stops and tells him to get into his car. And they drive away. They lose the cops. And when Ernie Hudson stops at an intersection, you can hear the car door on the other side open, and you can hear footsteps. And Ernie Hudson turns and looks, and his car door is wide open. Eric is gone, and there's just blood all over the interior of his
Yes.
car.
Full of
This
Batman.
white car is covered in blood. He pulls a Batman a lot in this damn movie.
Once again, it is Gotham. He is Batman and Joker in one.
He is a menace.
They were like, what if the Joker was the Batman?
That's what that movie
He's
is.
called the
What if
Backer.
The Joker was the Batman.
The Joker Man.
Hangman's joke.
The movie was almost
Hangman's
called
joke, yeah. That was his band. That was his album name.
Wow, all these Gotham references, man.
I tell you what, holy crap, yeah.
The least subtle Batman movie.
The least subtle Batman movie. He's just missing an Alfred.
It's the Great Value Batman movie.
That's Sarah's Robin.
Sarah's Robin.
Yeah.
He's got Commissioner Gordon, though.
He does. He does have Commissioner Gordon. We see that Top Dollar and his remaining crew are driving away in their car, and this is where they have the idea. The bird gives him his power, and if the bird gives him a power, you can steal the power. And I don't know how they figure out how they plan to steal this power from him, but they know the bird is tied to it in some way.
I bet they think that they can smoke on them eyeballs again.
Probably.
She said you can take his power away from him.
Yeah, using the bird.
Killing
As
the
in
bird.
not take it for yourself, but remove it from him so that he can be killed.
See, I interpreted it as take it for himself.
See, I interpreted that initially, but then I thought about it, and I was like, I think she just means you can take his power away from him, as in you can make it where you can kill him
You
again.
can make him mortal by killing the
Yeah.
crow.
That
takes
that's
the powers.
that
That
I like
makes
that
more
way
sense.
more than what I thought of.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
That
yeah.
makes a lot more sense.
Okay.
It's like you can take his power away from him, and you can just kill him.
Yeah.
Well, the scene that you see it
Yeah.
with the scene coming up with the sniper rifle in the
I believe that's what she
balcony.
meant.
Yeah.
He got the most high-powered rifle in a military, and he's
Yeah.
like,
But that's also the same little gun he had earlier.
"Holy!"
That's why I was saying it's like a pistol, but it cocks like a shotgun.
Yeah, because he cocks it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he
After
shoots
Tony
it
Todd
like a sniper
in the
rifle.
church. Eric's on the street. He's wandering around all fucked up, and this is where he passes the trick or treaters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it like gives him a sense of euphoria because he gets really excited to see these trick or treaters
Terrifiedly
childish
excited.
on the worst night of the year.
With no parents.
No parents, just these kids wandering the street.
And who's giving them candy? Where are they going? Why are they downtown?
Why are they running around a man they've never seen?
Yeah, they start
giggling.
spinning around him, and he's just ecstatic to see them.
And
He
this
also
is
has on a Halloween costume.
He does.
and this is also what I meant all the way back at the beginning with how his he could have become an amazing actor, I'm sure, if he had the time frame. But his facial expressions just put me in a place I just didn't feel good because he's like,
Oh, because he's smiling around all these children.
yes,
Oh,
in the weirdest
okay.
way.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, it was a weird moment. I guess he was just finally we see some people experiencing joy, so that brought him joy.
In this really dreary movie.
Awful city that they live in too.
God, I would have just moved out so long ago.
I would have.
I mean, if
left
that
everything I
rent's
own.
okay.
No.
No, I think they were like overpaying
Oh,
and still getting eviction notices.
damn.
They evicted Eric of his life.
They were doing everything to get people out of that.
This is the part Erica talked about earlier with Sarah sleeping at the graves.
Yes, the weirdest. Let's pop back into frame with Sarah with another grave destroyed and open and coffin exploded.
Well,
out.
she knows who that is. She knows where they are.
Yeah, but still, like,
Who sleeps in a graveyard?
Especially when your mom is finally off drugs, making you breakfast. You got a nice warm bed at the house. Let me go sleep in this graveyard on this woman I barely knew.
exactly, because this was the next. Like, this was.
It's that same day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that same night. Shelly was her weed dealer.
No.
She's like, oh man, I really miss Shelly. She had the good stuff.
No.
I would have just slept. I would have just gotten in to the grave where
Eric's grave?
because it was soft. Like,
I would have
it's-
stayed in my fucking bed.
No, that's a fair say. I would be.
Presumably, she has a bed.
I'd hope so.
But Eric shows up and he gives her Shelly's ring. You know, just to remember her by. I gave it to her. I think she would want you to have it. Really nice moment. She gives him a little hug goodbye. She says goodbye, and Eric's just like staring head on because he's like, I'm not going to see this kid again. He looks heartbroken that this is the last time he's going to see her.
And he's planning on dying right now.
I think he thinks his work is done.
Well, because he's going to go. He's calling out to Shelly, and I think she was getting ready to grab him and take him to the next life, but then
This is where while leaving, Sarah gets freaking
they grab her,
Tony
Get
Todd.
gat.
and the crow sees it.
Yep, just like Jeremy mentioned earlier, he sees what the crow sees. I think this is like the second time we
second or third that you see the eye transition.
Yeah, where you see where it shows Eric can see through the crow's eyes, and
He's got beautiful eyes. He did have some good eyes.
Very good looking.
I won't lie about it.
oh, we're talking about the guy. I thought we were talking about the crow.
Both
It
of them.
Both.
was a pretty bird.
Both
Yeah.
of them. That raven.
Yeah, the raven playing a crow.
Really good method acting of this Raven.
Yeah, he put on crow face.
Oh.
Well, if and this is the thing. Now, if they had just left, I almost said Shelley. If they had just left Sarah alone, Eric would have left them alone. He was
Yeah.
done. He just wanted the 4 guys that killed Shelley.
You could see his body like accepting that we're done.
Oh,
like,
he's
he was
slumped against
breaking down.
Oh no, he's not slumped against the tombstone yet. He's sitting there with the flowers, and he's got like his hand on the tombstone. And this is where he sees what the bird sees. And he goes to the church, and this is where we have that iconic shot of him pushing the double doors open. And he's got that skinny frame. And he's covered in the tape, and it's
Yep.
kind of like the cover of the DVD.
It's
Of the DVD.
Yeah, the DVD cover, kind of like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically the shot we're getting of him walking in this church with this white background behind him. Mm-hmm. And
Of the rain beaten down.
yeah, because it starts raining again right as she gets kidnapped.
Very on brand
Very on brand for this movie.
for Gotham.
He goes into the church, and Top Dollar's there, and they say they want Eric tells him, let the girl go. I'm not going to fire anything.
right.
Or I'm going to kill you.
Because he knows, he's like, she can leave, and I am ready to end it right now.
Yeah. And Top Dollar's like, well, let me think about that for a minute. And Eric has this confused look on his face, like, the fuck? And Top Dollar walks away, and he's pacing a little bit, and he goes, fuck it. And Tony Todd shoots the bird. Doesn't kill it, but he shoots the bird, and Top Dollar shoots Eric in the shoulder.
That's the gun.
Is it a real gun?
Yeah,
Oh, see.
that's the gun he was using.
Oh, shit.
It's a pistol with a top mounted. That's the magazine on top,
Oh,
apparently.
that's wild.
Yeah. Apparently, the max range of it is 300 yards.
Damn.
Damn. That's 3 football fields.
That's impressive.
So that's the gun they use to shoot the bird. Bird doesn't die.
Every time you say the bird, I think of Iron Man 2. It's like, I want my bird.
I want my
You
bird.
could say The Crow, which is what the movie is called.
That's true. The crow. So the crow gets got, not dead, just shot, and Eric has officially lost his healing powers
Because the crow has been wounded.
because the crow has been wounded, and he gets shot, and he has this great realization where he looks at the blood and he's like, "Oh fuck!" and he falls down.
I did love that reaction because he's like, shit.
That felt very genuine. Like he was actually like surprised, like, "Oh fuck! Now I can't really fight back. My big thing was I could heal.
Fuck, I'm not invincible.
I'm dying." And he's Top Dollar is about to kill Eric when Albert shows up. Alberch.
Just starts
I've been saying this
laying
man's
down.
name differently every time I say it this entire recording.
It's okay.
Laying down,
We know you're
cover
talking
fire.
Yeah. Ernie Hudson. And he comes in, guns blazing. He has this really cool, looks like a torch gun.
Yeah.
He fires a torch at Tony Todd. I only assumed so he could see him.
Oh, yeah, he's got like, a flare gun.
Yeah, it looks kind of like
Yeah.
like a
Rocket launcher, or grenade launcher.
like almost like a grenade launcher, but it shoots flares, which I thought was kind of cool. And
And handy in this building.
what's that?
And handy in this building.
Yeah, because it's very dark.
Yeah.
Very.
So they have their little shootout. Eric dies behind the pews. Tony Todd gets got in this moment. Ernie Hudson kills him. I think he shoots him with a shotgun twice in the chest.
Damn.
I don't know what he shoots him with, but he definitely hit him twice.
Yeah, so Tony Todd is out of this movie. Goodbye, Tony Todd.
He's gone.
Goodbye, Candyman.
And the Micah has tied Sarah up at the top of some stairs.
Yeah.
At the, let's say, going toward the bell tower. I don't know what else you would call it.
The steeple.
The steeple. That's, yes. Let's say steeple's stairs. Top Dollar runs up there. They have like one little like last passionate kiss. The sister has finally caught the bird. And she is shooting down at Ernie Hudson, and he takes one in the shoulder.
Yep.
Oh, but before all that, I'm sorry, I missed it. Before all that, he is checking on Eric, and he tells him, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to rush the stairs. You're going to be in front of me, and when they're all out of bullets, I'll arrest them.
Oh, yeah, he takes two.
Ernie Hudson?
Yeah. He took one in the stomach, didn't he? Or
He took twice.
Okay, I missed the second one. But in that moment where he's coming with that plan, Eric says, yeah, that's great. But there's one little problem. And he shows him the blood. Ernie Hudson says, oh, man, you're bleeding everywhere. I thought you were invincible. He said, yeah, I was. I'm not anymore.
He's very straight to the point.
He sounds so fed up with it. He goes, this ruined my whole fucking plan.
Damn it, I can die.
Yeah. Ernie Hudson gets shot, and he says to Ernie Hudson, he goes, you're supposed to stay behind me. Ernie Hudson says, yeah, I think I screwed up.
They're just sitting there like two friends, like, man, you're supposed to listen to me. Nah, I got too excited. I'm sorry.
Already in a buddy cop movie, and we didn't even know.
Yeah. He was very buddy copy at the end here. The Micah has the bird. She's about to shoot Eric, and the bird gets loose, and the bird pecks out her eyeballs.
Oh, it goes hardcore.
It just butchers her face, and then she falls from the steeple stairs and just falls to her death, and she's dead out of the movie.
The sound was actually on point. Just the splat.
Yeah.
And then he's like, just like,
well, she's dead.
She's done.
On to the next guy. So Top Dollar has Sarah at the top of the church. It's raining. It's pouring down rain. Mm-hmm. Eric comes out, and he tells him, look, let go of the girl. You can have me. I'm not going to fight back. Just let her go. And he goes, all right. And he just throws her off the center of the roof where they're standing.
The Dark Knight.
Batman Begins.
Very poor choice of words. But it's funny because Eric immediately puts up a fight. He starts fighting him. He grabs looks like a lightning rod off the building, and
while it gets struck by lightning.
Did he get struck by lightning?
It got struck by lightning right before he grabs it, and you hear him yell because I think it's still like hot from the lightning
strike. Is that
strike.
why he yelled?
I think so.
I missed that completely.
Go back because it turns and you see it and it goes, and
he grabs it.
Yeah.
Oh man, I missed that. But they had this little impromptu sword fight on the roof. Sarah's hanging over this opening in the roof where part of it just fell away, and she's trying to hold on. Top Dollar had taken the ring from her when he first kidnapped her, and now he loses it somewhere on the roof. It was kind of funny when Eric gave her the ring. She said, "Oh, I'll never take this off," and not 2 minutes later,
literally,
Top Dollar snatches it off of her neck. And he goes, I'm just going to hold on to this for you. Hope you don't mind.
Of all things, because he knows what it is.
He has no idea. It's just some ring. But it's fine. It works. It's whatever. He's an asshole in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
He stabs Eric through the back. Mm-hmm. Eric's sitting there, and he has another monologue, and he tells Eric about, nothing happens in the city without me knowing. I'm the one that gave the order to evict the people from that building. He's like, I can... God, what is he? He has some very personal speech, almost like he respects Eric and feels bad for everything that happened to him, even though he's the one that caused it.
I mean, to be fair, he was like, I just sent my goons to beat or to scare this woman. I didn't intend for them to murder y'all.
This is when that conversation happened.
Because he stood up a fight, and he was like, he was showing respect for the willpower he had and stuff like that. I think.
But he pulls out this knife and he goes, I'm really going to miss you. And Eric tells him, I have something for you. Something, I don't want it anymore. So I'm going to give it to you. And he does the thing again where, like he did to Ernie Hudson, where he touches his face, but instead of taking memories, he gives him. And he goes, it's 30 hours of pain. All in one go.
Well, and also it's the pain from Tintin. He did it to Tintin and saw the rape happening.
I thought those were just flashbacks coming through.
I think he touched him because I think
you're right. I think he did.
That's when the fight broke up.
Yeah, he found out what really happened.
Oh, okay, maybe, yeah.
Because he gives all of what happened in the apartment.
In the beginning, when he was seeing the flashbacks, did he get that from touching the cat?
The cat was just sitting there like, this is tragic.
The cat's like, man, this is really going to interrupt my dinner. But no, because
no wet food tonight.
He does get wet food later. We see that Eric did feed the cat.
Good.
But I don't think we ever see Eric interact with the cat, do we?
I think he did.
He picked him up once, but I can't remember the part.
When he first comes in, he interacts with the cat. Because I'm like, why is this cat still there? Who's feeding the cat?
Before he cuts his hands.
Yeah.
Oh.
Somebody there was like a rumor that they thought the cat was originally supposed to be like an angel or something like that.
Oh, he is extremely
Which
pure.
would explain why the cat is white. Angels are usually depicted in white.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like there was some kind of supernatural stuff going on already before the crow came along.
Shitty angel.
And
Okay.
usually angels are produced
'Cause they
with with light, and everything else is with darkness.
I didn't even think about that. That's
Yeah.
with the cat.
I honestly don't remember him.
And his
interacting with
name's
the cat. I
Gabriel.
remember Sarah picking the cat up. Yeah, the cat does have an angel's name.
Archangel Gabriel.
Yeah.
The big boy. Or
Wait,
one
the
of
cat's
them.
name's Gabriel?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the angel's name?
Archangel, yeah.
Well, the cat was supposed to be.
Yeah, but
That's
I wish
why it's pristine white.
I wish the cat was a bigger part of the movie. The cat's only in like 3 scenes.
I think they cut that part
They
out.
might have.
Yeah, they cut that bit out because they were just like,
That's too
much.
far-fetched trying to connect that in here.
They were already making connections left and right that didn't need to be made anyway.
That got cut out.
Yeah. That's when, after he gives him all the memories and the pain, Top Dollar just falls off the fucking roof and he lands on a gargoyle. And you can see all of his blood pouring out of the gargoyle's mouth, which is a great little shot.
It was so good to see.
Just gone. He's dead. So all the villains are now dead. Eric goes and he saves Sarah. They run downstairs and they check on Ernie Hudson. He's sitting there shot and he goes, man, I could really use a cigarette. And you can see Eric in the background kind of shaking his head a little bit. He lights a cigarette and he gives it to him. And Ernie Hudson's like, oh, this is disgusting. He's like, I'm never smoking again. I'm done. I'm done smoking.
Which is so wild. When I saw that scene, I was like, it almost reminded me of Constantine. When
He smokes the entire movie.
when the devil takes all the cancer from Keanu's his lungs, and then at the end of it, you hear him unraveling something, and it sounds like he's opening up another cigarette box, but it's Nicorette gum, and he's like, you ain't gonna get me again.
Because Ernie Hudson really was just like smoking every time we saw him. I was like, damn, man, you're driving.
He didn't have an oxygen tank. He had a smoke tank.
Oh, yeah.
There's a chimney. The cops show up. Eric vanishes in that moment. And Shelly's like, he's gone. And Ernie Hudson's like, yeah, he does that.
He's going back. He's going back.
He went back to the grave, but the cops show up, and that one asshole cop is there drilling Ernie Hudson.
While he's dying.
While he's freaking fucked up on the gurney with 2 gunshot wounds.
That cop hates him so much.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
much. He can't even for a second be respectful to this man. We don't get the backstory why he hates him either. He's just a dick. But Ernie Hudson tells him, he goes, you're the big smile on his face, your vigilante's on the roof. He's like, I know he's not up there, but whatever.
Well, I think Ernie knows that he's about to get his job back.
I think Ernie's happy just to piss that guy off one more time and
100%.
help Eric get justice for what happened to him.
Also, isn't that case is the reason that he got lost his
Yeah, lost his badge.
That's
Or-
what it seems like.
It's
Yeah.
wrapped up.
Yep. So he's happy. It stops raining after they're all dead. It finally stops raining, and we see it stop raining instead of usually it just cuts to a scene where there's no rain. Shelly's spirit finally visits Eric, because now this is where he's slumped in against the gravestone, just out of it, and his makeup is finally gone. That final rooftop fight on the church is finally where all that makeup got washed off. After 24 hours, after multiple beatdowns, the makeup is finally gone.
Maybe that's his power level indicator.
It's his life bar.
That's his life bar. The
Once the
amount of
makeup's
makeup
faded,
is
you're
still,
dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
he needed some extra lives.
Or maybe he was reapplying it while, during the daytime. It's like, I gotta look good for my men.
I gotta look good for my
these
billions.
killings.
Yep.
After Shelly goes over there to greet him, her spirit, it shows that his grave is covered back up. So presumably he's dead again. I assumed. And the Raven shows up on top of his grave, and the Raven found the ring that got lost in the rooftop fight, and he gives it back to Sarah. Sarah's like, "Oh, thanks." Gives it back, and it goes into this ending narration about love. Like, if you truly love someone, they're never gone. And that's the end of the movie. And then it has this final message before the credits really start to roll. It says, for Brandon and Eliza.
Yeah, I wonder who Eliza is.
That was his fiance.
Oh,
Did
his
she
fiancé
die?
No.
Oh, just
No,
in
it was
remembrance.
It affected both of them.
Okay,
yeah, in remembrance. I got
They
you.
actually had her permission to finish making this movie.
They had to get her permission and not his mom?
Well, I mean, she gave them her blessing
Okay.
to keep making this film. But yeah, the memory is dedicated to this family that was wrecked by this unfortunate accident.
Because was Bruce Lee? Did Bruce Lee die before his son?
Yeah, Bruce Lee died in the 70s.
That's what I thought.
Brandon was a baby when his father died, I believe. Like, he was real small.
Because Brandon was born in 65, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So
then Brandon would have been...
Like 8 or...
He would have been like 8, yeah. I'm sorry,
small,
yeah. He was a
young
small child.
Young
He wasn't
child.
a baby. But yeah, he was very young when his father died. But yeah, that's the end of The Crow. What'd you guys think about it?
I'm going to be real with you. Did not like it.
No?
I enjoyed aspects of it. As y'all know, what I did not like was his just...
It's facial expression.
Yeah.
It creeped me out too
I don't know.
much.
I liked most of them. That one where he's smiling around the kids was kind of odd, but I think it was just he was happy to see someone else happy.
No, that's fair.
I like the themes. I like the atmosphere of it. I just wish it had a better script because I don't know. So it didn't work for me.
Was it like choppy?
Yes, and also like I had to guess at what was happening.
Oh, they
Like-
didn't really explain a lot.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I need context. I need backstories. I need something.
Yeah.
It was one of the first like superhero movie, comic book movie adaptations. Like there's a lot of early comic book movie adaptations. And I think they kind of just were just running with
Because it was like a new
Reply.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean nowadays we're so used to like a really good storytelling format to the point where you know kind of what should be happening next. And I feel like that you didn't have a lot of that like
Hand-holding?
at that time.
Yeah.
Like in the 90s and the format just was not as
Tight.
yeah, it's not as good as it is now.
That's fair. That's a good
Yeah.
explanation.
Like in this movie, like what Jeremy just said, we have Eric's motivations for the entire film. We know what he's doing. We know why he wants to kill these people. But all the other characters, for the most part, really don't know what their motivations are. Like, we know the villains want to cause trouble, but we don't know why the eviction stuff. At least I didn't catch why.
It's a very in the moment movie. No backstory, no nothing.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah,
hey,
it really just throws you in.
Which I don't always hate that, but for
Fair.
this movie, I didn't hate this movie. Like I said, my biggest complaint was the shootout in the club. But this movie was not all the hype that I heard it was when I was a kid. Like, I heard about this movie. I heard like the soundtrack was really good. I haven't listened to the soundtrack. I've just heard what's in the movie, which
don't
they
have
aren't
to.
always the same. Soundtrack that's in the film is sometimes different from what's on the actual album. But it's just, yeah, it was a good movie. It's a really tragic story. Everyone knows the story, what happened to Brandon Lee. But it wasn't this big masterpiece like I heard about from my childhood.
And what also sucked was I really did not like the sheer brutality against women. Like these women are really going through the ringer. Like the men are also getting fucked up, but like the women are really getting fucked up for no reason. Like,
There's no need to rape this woman.
yeah, like
Exactly.
y'all could have beat the shit out of her and stabbed her. And then on top of that, you just had to rape her too? Like, why? Why? What?
I will give it this. They didn't show it,
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't show it.
which
Thank God.
I appreciate.
Well, this
I
movie is
hate that.
PG-13, right?
No, this movie's rated R.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, the language.
It's a-
They say fuck all over this movie.
Oh, it's like it's a very light R.
Well, I told him I didn't hear that much cussing, and from everybody except the bad guys, I heard no. Even Sarah, she's like, "Yeah, you fart a lot with onions."
Well, she is a child. I'll give her that.
No, exactly. But nowadays, going back to what Jeremy was saying, like the way storytelling is now compared to then, you'll hear kids dropping every word in the
Left,
book
right, all
now.
day, yeah.
There's no care. Back then, she was still a kid, acting like a kid. I don't eat onions. They make you fart. And this is a rated R movie.
was
You
a
would have
very
heard a kid
different
say,
time.
"Man, fuck this shit. I don't
Yeah,
want to fart."
they would have said
or
that.
something.
But yeah, they were
It really-
swearing. The violence was kind of there. It was very bloody. There were a lot of times where you see like the gunshot wounds and you see it heal. But yeah, the language was probably the. It wasn't like super sweary. Like I swear more than that movie does.
I feel like it really felt like a clean PG-13 movie. Like
No, they were. No one really noticed the swearing.
I didn't know, and maybe
noticed the
because
swearing,
I
but-
cursed so much, like it felt like
Yeah.
just a regular conversation.
No, they like the big one that stands out to me is when Eric is shot in the church. He's like, "Oh fuck," and he falls down.
That should give you a good indicator of how lenient things are now when it comes to what's bad
Back then.
now
Yeah.
versus what's bad then. You know, a lot less swearing, but that was still seen as, okay, this is really bad.
Temple of Doom was the first rated R, or not first rated, but it gave us the PG-13 rating, right?
It gave us the PG-13, but it was PG itself.
Yeah.
After
okay.
that movie came out, that's when we had PG-13. We already had PG and R at that time.
Okay.
Like even Jaws is PG. Yeah.
What?
I've never seen Jaws though, so
Yeah,
Jaws is rated
Yeah.
PG.
Jaws PG.
But
Jaws
over
before
time.
the PG-13.
Over time, we've been exposed to so many more things that you would consider like, this is bad. Should this be in this show or should this be in this movie? This seems kind of bad. What we've been getting exposed to over time has just been like, they've just been making it a little bit more bad, a little
Just
more
see
bad,
taking an
a
inch
little
from
more
one.
bad.
like
as the years
for
go
me,
along.
when I saw the latest Guardians of the Galaxy movie, I was like, if I had saw this as a child, like there were children in this theater, but like, so I was like looking, I was like, I don't know if I would have brought my child to this. Like
Yeah.
it was so traumatizing. I was like, when you get Rocket's backstory, I was like, oh my god,
That-
like that would have fucked me up as a kid.
That movie had me crying because the animal abuse and like this, like the character's heartbreaking backstory. But that's the first Marvel villain we've had that I truly hated. Like he was awful. Like not the performance. The actor did a great
Yeah, I
job.
know what you mean.
I do not remember the man's name. He was in John Wick 2 actually.
They did a good job making you hate that.
Yes,
that
he
villain.
was so terrible.
Like, and I think what made it, or with Marvel villains, they have a habit of humanizing them, so you're kind of like not rooting for them, but you're like, okay, I get why he's like this. Like, I could not figure out any of that guy's like, why was he doing this? What was the point of all this? Because you like, I get why he wanted it because he's like just a guy who's intent on making perfection, but like.
He's just bad.
He's terrible.
Just terrible.
Guy's
He was
literally
so
just bad.
good, but I never want to see him again.
But yeah, to go back, like, I didn't hate this movie. I enjoyed it for what it was, but like how you said, I grew up seeing it on TV one time, but I couldn't remember anything. So I was excited when you dropped it. Back then, this was probably exactly
blew
how it was
people's
described.
minds.
And now we're so used to all this clean cut, fluent storytelling and just CGI,
Movies have
anything.
gotten a lot better with
Well,
storytelling over
That
time.
and I think if like I saw it if I was like 14 when I was like an emo girl, I would have been like, this is the most beautiful love story I've ever seen.
You would have had it in your lockers.
Yes,
She
it
would
was
have had the crow everywhere.
This
I would-
man fought through hell
to
to
get his
back
woman.
and get revenge. But can
He's
I go,
a Hozier song right there.
You would have held every man accountable for what they don't do like he did. You'd
Yep.
be like, you don't love me like he loved her.
Would have been exactly like that.
You wouldn't have even been here. But it would have been dating a guy that looked like that.
Oh yeah.
going back to the part where I think Jeremy said something about how you didn't notice the swearing, and slowly it's just been ingrained to be a normal thing.
Yeah.
You guys didn't notice a lot of the swearing in this movie. Go back to Gone with the Wind. That's the first movie that had a swear word in it. It blew people's fucking minds.
Oh, it
What
really
year was
did.
that?
1939.
1939.
Rhett Butler.
I have
First
all
swear.
three
Frankly,
VHSs.
my dear, I don't give a damn.
The first time someone swore in a movie, they said the word damn, and people were shocked by it.
And not happy.
Not happy. There was the show NYPD Blue, a cop show that was on in the 90s. It was one of the first shows to swear on television and had nudity.
When I saw both of the butts in this movie,
Yeah,
Tell you what.
there were two lady butts.
Yep.
Of course.
the half sister
Yep.
and then the sadly dead girl.
Sadly dead girl.
It's to make up for all the butts we saw of David last week.
Right.
Oh, David. Lovely.
Wait, what?
But
From
yeah,
American Werewolf.
American Werewolf. Saw David's
Oh,
ass and dick
hey.
all over that movie.
Hey, I need to go rewatch it. I just don't remember seeing all the swinging. But
yeah.
3 times
Hey.
I saw that man's dick.
The exposure, it just over time, it just keeps getting more and more things that people get exposed to.
which
It's
that's
kinda like-
always like where the line is for sure, is like the frontal of men and women. But Deadpool 1, You don't see detail, but you see Ryan Reynolds swing when it gets in the explosion when he becomes Deadpool.
When you just see like his silhouette.
You see it.
Hell, you see him get pegged in that movie, but you don't actually see the pegging. When he and the girlfriend are fooling around, he's like,
"That's
yeah,
right."
okay." And he's like, "Nope, nope." I mean, it's just all what's acceptable nowadays.
What's not?
And for me, I'm cool with almost everything.
Yeah.
I just don't like rape scenes in movies,
No,
which is why I'm glad this movie didn't have one.
It just makes it. It turns it.
Right, like you know what happened to this character. We talk about it, but you don't need to show it. There's no need. But on that note, I think we're going to end this episode. We're going to, since Corey decided on our next movie we're doing.
Wait.
What?
Are we going to guess how much the movie costs?
Oh my God, I forgot all about my little game. Damn. Episode 2, we're still learning. So do you guys want to take guesses how much a movie theater ticket cost?
For The Crow?
Not for The Crow, but the average movie ticket cost in 1994.
94? I'm going to say $6.
No, not that high. I want to say $4.
I guess I'm going with 5.
Erica is 8 cents off.
What'd you say?
$4.
The
Is it
average
$3.92?
the average movie ticket cost in 1994, I'm sorry, was $4.08.
That feels right, because I know like the theater in my town when I was a kid, we could get tickets for like $8, and that was like 2004. So it was like it couldn't be that high.
I
10
keep
years
forgetting.
before.
I was only a
We
year
didn't go
old
to
for this
movies,
movie.
Do what?
We didn't go to the movies a lot when I was young.
So that's been our conversation on 1994's The Crow. Our next episode, which was picked by Corey. This will be a movie he's never seen. Corey, you want to tell everybody what we're doing?
I was so excited. I chose The Godfather.
1972's The Godfather.
Never seen it.
I haven't seen this movie in quite a while. This is going to be a good one. This is a 3-hour movie, so it's going to be a longer conversation than normal.
Oh, man.
I'm going to do better notes so I can just get straight to what I need to say.
There's a lot of notes because this movie has so many characters and so many different plot threads to go through. I'm excited to talk about it and watch it. So until next week, we've been Getting to the Theater. I'm Adam.
I'm Erica.
I'm Corey.
I'm Jeremy.
All right, you guys have a good one.